Chapter 53, Business Partners. I slept like child all day after I came back from mine. It was a tiring day. Now, can't stay in bed all day. Morning training, breakfast, fast bath, Joel made me coffee. Damn, this is life. Today I'll be meeting some new friends, but I still haven't done my college duty. Yes, today is the first day for our mysticism department. First class, Teacher Loneth. The basics of magical energy, the idea of spell casting, the strong and weak points of mystics, blah blah blah. I'll skip class. These things I was born with them in my head. I went back to the dorm and directly to the dorm's library. They have nothing worthy to read. Sigh. What should I do now? I want to research some spells in peace, but I reached a bottleneck with some techniques. No one here is that knowledgeable about the energy and matter. I remember some physics from high school, but after law school, I forgot most of it. Try not to think anymore. I headed to Neurinus. Sometimes she has some good ideas that refresh my brain. Brat, come here. And she's excited for some reason. Look at this. I worked on the idea you told me about. You was right. Light should not belong to the illusion school. She's still excited about that topic. I remember going into an argument with her about the nature of light. Was it energy, illusion, or matter? Explaining stuff to her is easy when she stopped arguing. So what did you come up with? I asked about the reason for her excitement. Look here, this is a new spell. Neurina casted a spell. Another Neurina appeared. Hurrah! A mirror spell. Wow, she managed to do that. She must have used the effect of reflect and the aspect of light with a high-class manipulation technique. I manipulated it into what you like to call install technique. F***K. I couldn't help but curse. Still, Neurina punched me. You kiss your mama with that mouth. Sorry. You said you use install. Doesn't that mean this is an expert-level spell that replaces something like mere mirrors? Neurina opened her eyes and realized it. F***K. I was planning to make it official. Damn, this airhead is back to her crazy spells. Neurina's only bad point in magic is her creativity. She may use a super spell like this for something meaningless. Even though she is a genius, she only makes useful thing when puts her heart into something. To me, who is having a bottleneck right now, this was a blow to my morale. Someone with so many ideas, but no mean to reach it, and someone who is capable of doing anything but an airhead. Sigh. You sigh too much, brat. It's not a good sign. I am in a bottleneck with some ideas. There are some old notes I found gathering dust in the Arcaneum. They have ideas pretty much similar to yours. Oh, that's the Neurina I came to see. She handed me some old notes, and I sat on the side reading. The notes spoke of the manipulation of energy, a categorization for the main techniques of spells. This is also something I worked on, and whoever wrote that is a genius. Adding my research to his, we can solve this problem in a way sort. The technique we agreed on were many. We also seem to agree that spell techniques can be categorized based on the spell level. And once the effect and the technique are suited for each other, we can manipulate the technique at some point, similar how one can cast heal with channeling and with bolt techniques. After comparing the ideas for a while, I removed my mistakes, and his then reached the last form of the theory. The casting techniques, beta. Hashtag novice level. Channeling, continuous casting, short-range stream spell, like flame spell, can be altered to make an effect on the caster, like heal spell. Hashtag apprentice level. Bolt. A high-speed bolt, long-range type spell like firebolt, can be altered to make an effect on the caster, like stone skin. Mark. Short-range form of casting that the caster, instead of casting the spell, would cast the spell's rune, which can serve for marking locations or planting traps, like fire rune. Hashtag adept level. Blast. Highly focused, average range and speed spell that explodes when it hits the target, like fireball, mass frenzy, mass paralyze. Aura. cloaking the caster or target with the aura of the certain effect and aspect casted, like Fire Cloak and Paladin's Aura. Zone, also known as Circle, can make an effect around the caster that affects whoever in it, like Circle of Healing, Muffled Zone. Hashtag Expert Level. Missile, a highly focused and energized missile of magicka with the longest range any spell can take. There are no examples for this type in my arsenal, but it would take the form of a meteor or a shooting star. Install, casting the magicka and making it take a fixed form for a while, like Flames Wall. Augmenting, argued, blending the magicka with the body to cause an effect from all the body or one part of it, something like Power Punch if the aspect of telekinesis was augmented. Bend, very argued. Not exactly a spell casting, but can be seen as completely dominating certain types of energy and reshaping it according to will, can be imagined in fire bending and free telekinesis. Hashtag Master Level. Bomb, massive explosion around the caster or can be casted onto a target. The range and speed are dependent on the caster, like Firestorm. Storm, wide-range spell that moves in circles around the caster or in the location he controls it at, like Blizzard Cyclone Shout. Call, similar to Mark as the caster launches the rune away. The difference is that the caster can keep controlling the rune from a far location, can be imagined as dropping bombshells from above. Beam, similar to channeling as the caster has to keep casting the spell. Difference is the beam is made of a highly focused energy within an insane range. Embodiment, very argued, smiler to augmenting. The caster blends with the energy. Difference is the body of the caster gets altered with the aspect. Become ethereal shout is the basic form of this technique. One can add an aspect to the etherealness and become the embodiment of the aspect. Basically, Lugia devil fruits. Suggestions are accepted in this part. I rack my brain to come up with this for a whole night. I want it perfect. Underscore. Whoa, this truly an eye-opener. I now have many leeways to go around the hurdles I am facing. I don't want to waste my money on some third-rate spells from this college. After all, my spells must reach perfection and ride on top of it. The senior who wrote these notes earned my full respect. This embodiment part was his idea, and I copied it like an idiot. I should pay respect to him soon. Narina came to me and looked at my journal. She sighed when she saw it. Seriously, how can you make such an impressive code you write? You write it from right to left, and the pattern thing you talk about is totally different from the common language. Didn't I tell you? It's fro. Any more past life nonsense, and I'll disown you. Sigh. You kids give me headache all the time. She looked at the window and said, I wonder how is Akira blending in Whiterun? Or how is Sviti doing with her studies? You are not worried about Wolfer or Isolde. Narina grinned. These two followed you the most. I am worried at what they are doing to the world. Ah, she is right. Good thing I'll never make you worried. I said then, turned my head to the notes. Little did I know that I would get my head hit by Narina. You little runt, you are making me worried every day. I looked at her while holding my head, but her face was showing a lot of emotions. A lot of sadness was mixed in. Oops, what have done wrong? Narina, I am sorry. She was looking away dejectedly. I really didn't mean it seriously. This was the first time Narina showed such face front to me. I felt that something has gone wrong. It's fine, she said and turned away. I promised your mother, your real mother, to give you something one day. I guess this is the time. Narina turned around, but I couldn't watch her sad like this. My body moved on its own. Wait, I said, and ran to her then, stood in front of her. You are my real mother. What nonsense are you saying? I held her hands and lowered my head to kiss them. But your M.O., I know Hilda has her reasons to leave me in the orphanage. Wah, howdy. I knew from the beginning. But whatever reason she had doesn't make you any less than her as my mother. It was a teary moment, but thank goodness it was interrupted. Nurin. Oh, Bad timing. I'll just go this way. Lonith. Yes, Nuri. Ahem. Archwizard. Your memory. Completely wiped out. I don't remember when I came to the tower. Whoa. How am I here? Nurina and Lonith were having a comical conversation, so the heavy mood was lifted. I went back to the desk and took my journal ready to leave. Brat. She is back to her usual self. This belongs to you. It was passed down from Hilda to Delvin, and he gave it to me. You will know what to do with it. She gave me a red note. It had a strange insignia of a beast roaring, and around his head is a mane of fire. Fire mane. That was not me or Nurina. This was Lonith, the symbol of great clan Fire Mane, right? I was confused. Why does Lonith know that name? You know them? Nurina asked. I was invited in their castle once. Clan Firemane is big and ancient. I have a friend from the Mane family. His name is Tyr. We met before the Great War and participated together in it, but he was wounded. After it, his brothers left to Hammerfell, and I took him back to Skyrim. Doesn't sound like a rosy tale. I said, Tyr and I go way back. If you need help from the Firemanes, just find Tyr and say my name. Even though you look like one of them. I guess you are a bit shorter. What's with that? I am no short at all. I am actually taller than most. We're the Firemanes. Giants. I and Nurina looked at each other strangely. This day is just so full of drama from its beginning. It is not ending yet for me, as I have business to do in the inn tonight. Let's just escape before any more drama happens. Yet no rest for the wicked, it seems. When I was carrying the notes, I saw a signature on one of them, and due to my curiosity, I looked at the name trying to read it. I hope I didn't. What was written was Augur of Dunlane. F***K. Sigh. I hid back in my room, cowering myself in my bed. I want nothing to do with this day anymore. I want my secretary to rearrange my business schedule to tomorrow. I have no secretary, however, nor I can reschedule anything now. But one thing for sure, this day just wants to bite my ass. I had 2 notes on me, and my blood pressure was in no shape to read any one of them today. One was Hilda's journal, and the other was the Order's ideas. Augur of Dunlane, known as the Augur, was formerly a Breton mage who lived and worked in the College of Winterhold. According to teacher Talfdir and teacher Colette Marantz, he was an upstanding mage and advanced student, especially talented in restoration. Restoration replaced mysticism at that time as the school that is considered about energy manipulation. Talfdir says in the game, he was a brilliant student, an accomplished wizard, delved into magic in a way none had seen before. But I think he became too focused on just how much power he could acquire. That's what led to the accident. Apparently, it was this acquisition of power that distracted him from magical greatness. A failed magical experiment transformed him into a non-corporeal entity. That's so scary now. I just don't have the right amount of brain cells to process this now. Let's leave the 2 notes for tomorrow. Yees. Good idea. New day, new me. Sign. I never thought I would see you in such a state. Jelinar was doing her training I tasked her with. Now she is my servant, and she lives in the same room as me. My room is on the 3rd floor of the tower, and I have a good space. Better than the usual student room from the game. This room has the same look and furniture as the game's, but was 4 by 4 meters and had a fancy bed for me and a normal bed for little Joel. Of course, there was a divider between us. You just don't understand. Behind that door is the omnipotent force of fate that wants to pick on me all day. Haha, by all means. Girl, you'll get beaten. Oh, the great Lord Mage John Dare wants to beat up a weak girl. How ruthless. Stop saying weird stuff. You are coming with me as a meat shield tonight. If fate came to bite my ass, I'll throw you at him and run. You're taking me outside. Will I get to wear the new outfit? She jumped from her side of the room lively and jumped on my bed. She was showing some skin, but I got used to her these past days. She was holding a note and writing something. Another crazy poem. Yes, you get to wear it. You'll carry my sword too. Yay. What's going on with her? So cheerful. Something good happened today. What? Are you not noticing anything different with me? Wait a second. Isn't this that question? Something different. Crap, 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 crap. This is that question when a girl changes some makeup or hairstyle, then ask her boyfriend, and if he failed to answer, then it's over. Well, technically, Joel is no girlfriend of mine, but I have to answer that accurately or my morale will take a bigger hit. Damn it, this day is not taking it easy on me at all. I'll make it this time. Your hair. She shook her head. You buffed your breast with some magic or anything. She covered head chest with her arm and looked at me with disdain, then shook her head. Let's face it, she's flat beyond hope. You changed. I looked for a while. A scar. A scar got healed. Yes. Oh, I did it. Dovakian Sama, bonsai. Congratulations. But how did you do that? Lady Lonith and Lady Nurina told me about an ointment, and I bought it. You used your allowance? MHM. She nodded happily. I knocked on her head with a finger, causing her to hold it in pain. Stupid girl. I told you to come to me directly when it's something about your scar and I. Did you spend it all? She held her head and nodded. I'll buy it for you from now on. Did they say anything about your eye? She shook her head. Actually, healing that is much harder. Fine. Go gear up now. Let's hope the rest of this day go easy on me. She jumped back to her bed and started changing behind the divider. The armor she wore was a fit cloth ABD steel light armor that had a hood and a face mask. It was colorful and easy to move it, so she doesn't appear as her fellow assassins. I took her and went outside the college. The sun was setting and the time drew nearer. I myself was dressed in an easy-to-walk-in clothes, which was called the Secret Apprentice robes from Star Wars. Part of the plan was to make appearance with the flame Atronak horse, and so I summoned it. I rode into the town like that, and I attracted a lot of attention. Now, let's go to the inn. The frozen hearth was unusually crowded, and many people were singing and making some sort of celebration around the bar. I left the horse outside the inn and didn't banish it. This was all part of the plan. After all, I paid for this party and invited as many people as possible. The lumberjacks, the miners, the builders, and the hunters were all here. But all were a distraction. Can't let the Jarl know I do business here. Elishka saw me and whispered to the old mine owner, People, the mage who saved the mine is here. Applause, clapping, and some people wanted to invite me for drinks. Elishka and the old man seemed to have accomplished their job well done. I told them to make a propaganda for me across the town as the savior mage who saved the mine alone while riding a flaming horse, with an underlined no credit to the guards, as well as announcing that I am the champion of the tournament and the host of the party. Even though the people hardly forget about the grievances against mages, they act well when they receive a favor. Now, as I could free myself, I entered a room with Elishka and Joel following me. Okay, everything is ready? I asked. Yes, shall I start? Elishka asked. Of course. First meeting. Elishka nodded and went outside. Jeliner, who didn't understand what was going on, just picked a seat beside me. The room was actually a normal bedroom for the patrons of the inn, but I booked it for meetings tonight. The door opened again, and who entered was the old man of the mine. He was dressed neatly and carried a small chest in his arms. Sir Mage, hee, I did as you told. Here is the crystals we mined from before and yesterday. The man took the seat opposite to me and opened the small chest. Nice. I checked them one by one. Soul gems can be appraised based on color and white. These are not any bad. Most of them were petty and lesser soul gems. Some are common, and only one was a greater soul gem. That is some harvest. Good job. According to this papers, we will sign together. You will be my official supplier, and I'll pay you according to the prices here, and here. Elishka started reading the contract to the man, and he was taken aback. I actually paid him fairly and wrote a professional contract with all my spirit as a lawyer. Sir Mage, thank you. Good. Let's work together for Winterhold, Old Vekman. For Winterhold? Of course. Thank you. The man said and left. Next, Elishka went outside and returned with another man. This is Borker, the master huntsman in these parts. W.O. met, Sir Mage. I shook hands with the man and offered him a seat. I understand that your work comes with a great risk, Mr. Borker, so I won't meddle in your business a lot. But first tell me, how is your work? It's not as bad as the miners, but I can't take in many people or everyone will go poaching. I understand. How many members is your team? Around 10. We are the official hunters who are only allowed to hunt. Do you know how to read? Yes, Sir Mage. I gave a man a paper, and he started reading. Which one of these animals do you hunt? Mostly all of them, except horkers. Do you see these words on the other side? Normal and greater things with colors? It is like this. You kill an animal and trap its soul by a magical bow or dagger I'll provide you with. The soul will go to the gem it fits, and the gem will shine brighter. I started telling the man about the prices and the soul-trapping process, also how to do business with me. He asked some questions, but it all went well, and another contract was signed. Now I get the gems and get them filled. The marketing is easy since I have the whole damn college. The man left with the chest of soul gems and some enchanted daggers. Now for the third business partner. Third, Elishka asked, as that was not in the plan. Yes, it's you, Elishka. I said, I have a very profitable business in mind. Chapter 54, Confronting the Jarl. A very big apology to @angry_bear on. I haven't checked it for 2 days and haven't seen the donation. Thank you very much. And congratulations on becoming a graybeard. Sir Mage, you want me to do business? I am afraid I have nothing I can offer. Elishka quivered and looked away. What are thinking of? I said business, not your body. She looked at me as if she wasn't expecting that. Thank you, sir. Actually, you still have to hear me first. The business proposition I am about to ask you will bring a big change to the town. Sir Mage, I don't think I can be much use in any trade. What if I help you rebuild the house and give you a comfortable job? That's all too good to be true, sir. I am planning to start a bathhouse business, something like the one you used to work in. Elishka shook her head. I don't want anything to do with it. I have spent 5 years doing all this and that with men. I will do it no more. I don't want you to do it. I want you to run it. Run it? But I have no brain for money, sir. And Winterhold has no one wealthy enough to bathe in a bathhouse. Sigh. What about mages? What about them? We have baths, but we barely touch girls. Look, this is business. Winterhold has no money or good circulation process. It was all sucked by the Jarl. Now, if you want to energize the economy, you need to start expanding your market. The town has nothing. Completely nothing. This is a slow death state, and you all will perish no matter how many iron mine or lumber mill you have. You need to build an economy based on everyone's capabilities. And you have the biggest gold trove in goddamn Skyrim ready for the taking. The college holds wealth that no one can imagine, and more importantly, they can't be influenced. If an establishment like a bathhouse was made, then the people from the college will lose their minds over it. I also have seen many beautiful girls in the town. If they were to be put on a healthy food system and training, they will be the most dazzling girls in any bathhouse. I will not just take care of them. I'll give them a place to stay and all they need. Now, what do you say? My inner ex-earthling has squeezed out every bit of idea to make it look lucrative enough. Elishka thought for a while. She raised her white hands on her beautiful face and started thinking. Will the girls get everything they need? A place to stay, health care, good payment, shares of the profits, 2 days off weekly, as well as food and drinks. What they have to do in return is follow my instructions and your guidance. I need their word of cooperation before I take the next move. I see, but how will we work? We can't draw water unless we are at a river, and we barely have enough firewood in the inn. Do you know how many times I sighed in this day alone? Please, Elishka, this is a magical world. Any problems can be solved by magic. But sir, the girls will be Nords who lived in Winterhold most of their lives, so they won't think highly of magic. Those who don't want to work won't get the job. There's only one path, and it's forward. Those who keep looking backward will eventually die out. Their choices are their own. When can you gather some girls? They are all at the hall outside. Fine. Bring them in and talk them into it. I will make you a partner if this project worked. Elishka's eye lit up. She nodded and ran out. I stood up and told Joel to follow. She seemed a bit hesitant. What's wrong? Did you sleep with that woman? She asked. Something wrong with it? I don't know yet, she said with a mysterious voice and went out ahead. What's with her? I'll find out later. Now let's head to the inn hall and make some noise. The hall was hectic. I looked around and saw a face I know. It's Trudvar, the guard boy who ran from the mine to here. WL met. I greeted him and sat down. Sir Mage, what a pleasant surprise, Trudvar said. He was a tall guy like me, with black short hair and a bit of a baby face. He's a good fighter, though. Let me get straight into business. You seem like a good guy, and Alishka vouched for you. Do you want to work for me? Wah, work? Yes, I am planning to get the title of the Thane from the Jarl. So you want me as a housecarl? Yes. I would be honored, Sir Mage, but the Jarl won't give the title easily. I'll force it out of him. If you do that, Sir Mage, I'll swear my allegiance to you. Do you have any friends that are good with swinging weapons and can be trusted? I know some. After the tournament, a fire broke out in Solitude, and a member of our team ran away. We were between becoming guards or going to the chill, so I'll be able to persuade them into it. It's okay. I only will ask for them when the title is gained. Yes, Sir Mage. I hope you have luck. As I finished with the guy, Joliner came to me and whispered something. Oh, about bloody time. Finally, the party made its goal. The Jarl is asking for me. A second later, some guards went in, and one of them headed towards me. You're the owner of that demon horse. Oh, I have two more. By the gods, where do these demons come from? Anyway, better head to the Jarl with us now. He's asking for you. I spoke and raised my voice. The Jarl is asking for me. Will I get reward? The guard were taken aback by my statement, but the people who heard me cheered. This is going to be fun. The people followed me as planned. This was only done by some old crowd manipulation trick. If few of the crowd did some notable action, the rest shall copy one by one. So, I made a few arrangements for some cheerleaders. I stood in front of the Jarl's longhouse with around the 60 to 70 people who followed. A guard saw the crowd and ran inside to report. Some other guards centered themselves in front of the crowd. What is the meaning of this? A dark elf came out and was in a bad mood. I heard the Jarl has invited me for some reward, so I came, and my friends tagged along. Yeah. Reward? Aren't you the owner of that so-called demon horse? I'll report to the Jarl. The dark elf went in. I could hear some yelling inside, but it ended quickly. A second later, the door opened again, and who came out was Career, the Jarl. Why are you folks standing around here? Because you called for me, Jarl. I spoke. They're my friends, and we were drinking together tonight. But you're the reason behind this damn noise. We are celebrating the mine rescue, my Jarl. Sir Mage rescued the whistling mine, Jarl. What will be the reward for him, Jarl? Is the tournament champion, my Jarl. These were not just some normal people. They're the ones controlling the crowd, as I paid them for. The rest of the people started taking from there and made a fuss on their own easily. These four just earned themselves a bonus. Career looked annoyed, but he couldn't retort to this number of people. He can easily pay me up and get over with it. He also recognized me as the tournament's champion, and attitude changed a bit. Fine. About the rescue. On behalf of Winterhold and its people, I thank you. He then looked around trying to find someone or something. Will I get to be a Thane? I asked. This is a shameless question on my part. The Thane in the game was just a game title. But in real life, this title held much duty to it. A Thane is like a police officer. Someone with a title to command the guard around, make arrests, and subjugate outlaws. You want to be a Thane? Career looked at me as if he heard something funny. Thank you, my Jarl. I promise I won't disappoint you. Career looked at me, and his expressions carried a hint of anger. He felt like he was being led by the nose. A Thane, huh? He said, this title is a serious matter. You sure you want it? Of course. I also know that the Thane must be a landowner, so I really was planning to buy some land in the north near the college. Will you now? Career looked at me smiling, but he wasn't amused at all. I will also need a housecarl. Thanes get one from the guard's rank, right? I'll be shameless just this time and ask for Trudvar over there. Career was baffled for my shamelessness. I am as rude as a guest who came to visit late at night, and demanding a banquet. One must know that in the game, players can't have a land or house from Winterhold. Not even a housecarl, which is a personal attendant for someone with a title. I think I can give you the right to buy a land in this housecarl of yours, Career said, but then he smiled and couldn't hide the grin on his face. He was scheming something. You see, because of the collapse, Winterhold lost most of its history. What if we can retrieve one piece of it? He was clearly trying to get on the crowd's good side. He cleared his throat and raised his voice. Winterhold has lost much of its history, and with that much of its power. I aim to change that. I've heard rumors of the resting place of the Helm of Winterhold, the very same helm that Jarl Hansa wore in the First Era. Hansa was in line to be High King of Skyrim. Having that might get us some appearance between the other holds, and may give our town some authority. The people cheered as he said, but I could smell the scheme. You want to do things this way, huh? And where can I find the helm? I asked. Hobbs Fall Cave. Oblivion. Is he planning to send me there? The people quieted down. Some finally understood what was going on. You can go there with that housecarl of yours, no problem, right? If you retrieve the helm, then the title is yours. Hee hee, that's all you could scheme. No problem. I'll go and retrieve the helm. Oh, will you? By all means, please. He was thinking that if I walked to my own death, he wouldn't have to bother or receive any retribution. The people dispersed after that, and I went back to the inn. Sir Mage, this will be bad. That cave has so many bad rumors. Trudvar was panicking. I know about the rumors. Then you know what the Jarl wants. Even if we somehow made it, we might not even find a helm. He was right. We may not find anything. Don't worry. I knew he would do something like this. Just do what I tell you to do. I said, do you have a gear? Not anymore. The guards captain called for me and told me I was released from duties and to be your housecarl, Sir Mage. Good. Here is your first payment. I took out 5 gold septim and gave it to him. I am sure his salary as a guard isn't even 1/5 of that. Wah, Sir Mage, is it okay? Yes, and from now onwards, call me boss. Yes, my boss. Not with my... just boss. Yes, boss. Now, as you can't live in the barracks, you'll stay in the inn. Once I get some land and build a house and a business, you will be the head of the security team. Like the title? Yes, boss. I promise I will never disappoint you. We will be heading to Hobbs Fall Cave, so I'll bring you an armor and a weapon. Report to me the day after tomorrow morning in front of the college. You're dismissed. Yes, boss. Trudvar went away to find himself a place in the inn. I, on the other hand, couldn't help but grin. Hee hee. Finally, I get to be called boss. Ha ha. Chapter 55, Mad Joel versus Mad John. Back to the inn room. Elishka opened the room for me, and I went in followed by Joel in her new mood. She is not even replying to me now. Looking into the room, I saw a bunch of girls. They looked nice, but a bit thin. These are the girls. Yes. How would they take the job offer? Elishka smiled. They are a bit hesitant. 1, 2, 4, 6. 18. Quite the number. They insisted that they would hear from you first. Fine by me. Can any one of you read or write? Between them, only a single girl raised her hands. Only one. She has light ginger hair with green eyes, not the most beautiful among the others, but she had her own charm and looked confident. Now that I look at her again, aren't you from mine? Yes, Sir Mage. You saved us that day. Actually, I am not the only one. Half of us here from the mine. Will you stop working there? We already stopped, sir. After the mine accident. We don't think we'll go back there again. Ah, so that's how it is. Will you be a bathhouse girl heir? What's your name? My name is SIV, and I have no problem working at all. Then, she didn't seem hesitant to me. The others are a bit in discomfort about the matter. She said, so she herself has no problem. Picked the wrong person to argue with, it seemed. No problem still. You said you can read. Do you recognize the term economy? I guess it's a thing about money and food. She looked around, and the other girls started nodding to her. Money and food. Well, it could be said money and goods at least, but let's go with money and food. I said, so, you know by that the economy in Winterhold is nearly non-existent, right? They all nodded. How do you fix that? They all looked at each other, not knowing what to say. Buy food from other holds. A girl said that. I replied with meh, and gesture that's not close. As they thought of it, I took a seat in Saturday. Fish for food. Hunt animals. It's the same thing, you idiots. We need ships to trade. No, we need a new Jarl. Need more people to start working. Working. There no work around these parts for years. They started to think, oh, what a blessing. Nords using their heads reminds me of my old bicycle. It caught a lot of rust and made a scary noise when I tried it sometimes later. Okay. All that you said can be considered right. But you missed one point. They all looked at me waiting for illumination. Does this town have any money? They looked at me and shook their heads. It has no transport, no safe routes, no good leadership, not even a minimal amount of work chances. All this and that needs money. But who will give you that much money? They looked at me and they already guessed it. The college. But sir, won't the guards harass us if we worked with the mages? I am a mage, and when I become a Thane, they won't be able to do anything against me. You will have the support of the mages themselves, and you will live in places I'll prepare for you. Some of them nodded. I know it's not the job anyone would want, but you need to be the reason for this town to stand up. If things remain like this, then you know better than me how will this town will end up. They nodded silently. One more thing. Have you ever heard of the Thieves' Guild? Some of them nodded. This was actually unexpected. The guild is not that famous outside Riften. On the surface, they're a group of thieves who rob homes. But what if I tell you that it's not really true? I said, the guild is dedicated in thievery, yes, but they're the experts when it comes circulating money, making deals, helping new work owners, loaning money and all of that can make a town thrive and a town sink. Now, do you understand how important their work is? They nodded. Perfect. There is no real presence for them in Winterhold, and I'm glad things are this way. This job will exclusively be ours from the day we start the business. We will be the holders of the real money circulation in Winterhold. They all opened their eyes wide, even Alishka, who knew of my plan. You, my beautiful girls, will be the cornerstone of this town. After the bathhouse, you may need a better job, so I'll tell you a small piece of my plan. I said, every mine, lumber, and trading business in Winterhold will belong to us. Along with the power of money, we will grow in number, and us 20 people in this room will be the first to benefit from it. They were smiling like idiots while wildly imaging the future. But don't forget, the road ahead is not easy. And to be the pioneers of making money in Winterhold, we will need to be strong. Yeah, we will face more than just the Jarl, but we have to challenge ourselves and prove we are the only ones who can save this godforsaken town. Yeah, we will not just save it. We will make it better than its glory days. Yes, make Winterhold great again. A girl raised her voice. Now anything but that phrase. I heard something that made me shiver. Anyway, I made the girls get fired up. Even though Nords are thick-skulled, Nord women are pretty much sharper than men. I didn't lie to them in anything, but I just made it look achievable. After that, I gave them some instructions and sent them away. Now it's only me and Alishka. I like these girls. I didn't hide my opinion. Actually, they're very lively. Now hold it there. You can't have any one of them. I'm not sure if we will be able to do business that way. Alishka said, hee, that leaves me with only one choice. I said as I approached Alishka, who retreated back on her own. Boss, please. If it is you, I at least need to. As I held her and pulled her closer, we heard something fall and break on the floor. It was a wine bottle pushed down by Joel. Crap. She thinned her presence all the time that I forgot about her. She looked at us and said, a bee. I'll go clean that up. If you please, boss. I seriously felt awkward. Joel was not even looking at me. I excused myself and went out heading back to the college. Jelena was quite moody and tried to break another bottle on the way out, but I managed to drag her before so. Walking silently into the dorm, I immersed myself in the warmth generated by the magical runes. This was very warmer than the outside. One of the main reasons why we mages don't go out. My room was protected by a lock spell only I could open, and I filled it with soft fur, so it felt really comfy. Looking forward to the day after tomorrow, I sat on my chair and made the final improvements on the spells I am researching. By tomorrow, I'll be able to upgrade my arsenal one big time. The notes of the augur and Hilda's journal are there atop of each other. I was about to stretch my hand to grab them, but unexpectedly, I felt something cold on my neck. Joel was holding a dagger and pointing it to my neck. John wanted to at least look at her, but he heard her voice, "Don't look back." He was impressed. How could she sneak on him with ill intent while the spell alarm is active? This spell is a divination spell that has no counter. The only explanation is she has no ill intent. It also seemed that there will be an episode of Joel's Madness Returns. What is the matter, Joel's? Or should I call you Mabia? Joliner stiffened and replied quietly, "Don't ever call me by that name. I am Joliner, your little Joel." "Oh." John was unexpectedly amused by her words. "Isn't that your birth name?" Joliner's dagger pressed a bit harder, but she was not aware of it. "Thousand curses upon it. Maybe you died on that ship." "Then why the dagger? I didn't ask for any." "Shaving." John liked the situation for some reason. "Because I will force you." Joliner got closer and moved her head beside John's and hugged him with her free arm. "What's wrong, Jules?" Joliner took in a breath and said, "You smells so perfect." John was instantly creeped out and jumped from the chair, freeing himself from Joliner. "Okay, now listen." He was about to say something, but he saw Joliner in front of him. She was naked, and her hair was everywhere, covering her face to her shoulders. Only her small, pointy ears appeared. She looked like the girl from horror movies, except she wasn't in a white dress, not pale, and holding a dagger instead of a doll. Still, John hated horror movies. "Joel's, what's wrong?" John tried to see what's wrong with her and was a bit worried. "You are. And left me. Choice. Why?" John couldn't hear what she was saying, so he got close to her and moved her hair away from her face. What he saw was the usual girl that follows him around these days. Her left eye was covered with an eye patch, and her left showed less color than usual. "Why are you sad?" "Because you don't." She didn't say more, so John hugged her head to his chest. She too dropped the dagger in her hand and hugged him. "You are jealous of Alishka?" She hugged him even tighter and didn't say anything. John patted her head, trying to cheer her up. "Maybe because I am ugly." Joliner was speaking her thoughts out. "Or maybe I should just die." John, who heard that, stopped patting her, and his aura turned cold. Joel felt the change and looked up at him as he was taller than her. But what met her sight was John's hands coming to her neck and clutching on it. Joliner was taken aback and held onto John's arm, but he only started to tighten his grip. "You want to die?" She heard a cold tone she never heard from him before, not even when he caught her and tortured her in that alleyway the day they first met. She looked at him, and his expressions were not normal. His eyes were looking at her very amused. His lips curved into a twisted smile. His aura was chillingly cold. Even the room that was warmed with magic felt like the outside in Winterhold. "You know how death feels? How dark? How cold?" John asked, but this time fear kicked into Joliner. She tried to resist his grip, but he tightened more. He even raised her up in the air with only one arm. Her body squirmed like a fish. This was beyond her madness, beyond her fears and ghosts. A demon she saw for the first time. "So you don't want to die?" Joliner's body was cold despite her struggle. This was a primal instinct. It was fear, a fear that only a predator can cause. "Please, Sorarwai." Joliner barely squeezed these words out. "Umph." John snorted and let go of her. She fell down on her knees and started coughing for air. The cold aura was still around her. There was no escape from this fear that broke into her. John turned around coldly. He held the chair and turned it to face her, then sat on it. She could only hold his leg and hug on it. Though he was the source of this chilly aura, his side was the safest place she can think of. When he saw her doing that, he held her from the back of her neck, then lifted her up and sat her on his lap. Even the difference in their sizes wasn't really big. She felt like a cat on someone's lap. "Now you know your place." She nodded hurriedly. I salvaged you out of the prison that day. I put you back together. I gave you a name and a fair amount of choice. But there are things you can't choose unless I choose them for you. Things you can't have unless I give them to you. Are we clear? His cold aura increased with every word he said impressed her. Joel nodded timidly. John's chilly aura calmed down rapidly, and a warm aura started to take effect around him. He put his hand on Joel's head and smiled. He took her head by the chin and raised it to face him. You belong to me more than you belong to yourself. You will follow me everywhere and when. You get to be my shadow and live in my darkness. These are the only privileges I will give you. Are we clear? Joel nodded. Then, let's seal this with a kiss. Chapter 56, Hilda's Journal, The Great War. This bonus chapter comes to you by the goid graces of @angry_baron. There were no side novel chapter as it seemed that some were expecting, sorry guys, but it would be better this way. Trust thy dater prince. This is a bit of lore and theory chapter, so read carefully. That night, I took Joel's and she slept beside me. For some reason, I turn possessive when it comes to her. I know it's not right, but I feel like she is mine. She just fits nowhere but beside me. I love her madness. He scars her disturbed state of mind. I'm going to build her a safe haven beside me, so she can experience no pain again. I'll fulfill her every wish too. I will not show any of this, but I need to at least make her content. I don't know the reason behind that, but my stubbornness forced me to stand and challenge her fate. Maybe I am wrong. Maybe I'm doing things selfishly. When I first came to this world, I felt some darkness within me. I didn't understand the reason behind my reincarnation, and I was depressed for some time. Seeing Joel's made me realize that I am not the only one who is a misfit. When I was a child, I was afraid of being found out or anything, but Nerina was there for me. This girl, too, had a crazy out-of-the-norm start. Shunned by Nords and Dunmare, she can have no blood relative to relate to, no one to accept easily. I felt close to her. Tonight, I had to suppress her demons. I had to force her to not act as moody as she was. She has her own world values, and sometimes she would lash at people not caring about what they might think. Sometimes she becomes cheerful, sometimes very gloomy. But now she is sleeping beside me and looked so peaceful. I know my way is a bit broken too, but I think we suit each other. Funny thing is, she was jealous when I held Alishka. That makes her more adorable in my eyes. I'll cherish her from now on. I also think the newly developed spells I just used on her were effective enough. I was making some progress in illusion magic and created a cloak spell that can be called Aura of Madness. It's a strong version of fear. The spell can put the area around the caster under energy pressure and carefully selected effects of negative emotions. It was pretty much effective. Now, I was lying beside the naked sleeping Joel and playing with head hair. We kiss for some time before she sleeps, and she is a lousy kisser. I'll make Alishka teach her for sure. After some time, I went up from the bed and covered her. I haven't changed my clothes yet. I'll just go with a short for now. Before the thing with Joel's, I was going to go through the notes of the augur again. There is this interesting idea of inner and outer magicka casting. The augur was trained to cast spells from inside, without focusing a spell on his hands. It's not like starting fire from the inside or anything. It was similar to the idea of powers from the game. To use a special power like the beast form for werewolves or war cry for heroic Nords, one needed to select it from the power menu to activate it with Z. That's how things went in the game. In real life, every power has some rules and different ways to use them. War cry requires a strong emotional desire to step ahead and absolutely zero fear. It's the manifestation of the willpower of a warrior that enchants his allies and demoralizes his foes. I don't know about werewolf's beast form, and I am not truly interested in it as a power. Any power drawn of the Daedra to the extent of changing the physical form is a negative energy that shortens the life and weakens the magicka. From their notes, I also read about different types of magicka. The augur called them positive and negative. I'll call them mana and miasma. I also had a theory about the different kinds of magicka, and it was one crazy theory based on nothing but guesses. I thought that magica may be the energy of the essence that Magnus used to create Mundus, the mortal world. So what if this essence was the essence of everything? I am thinking of something like E equals mc squared here, the golden rule of mass and energy. I also was not the brightest person in physics class, but if the magica was the energy that created the essence of matter, then I am regretting not studying physics much better in my past life. Now I'll put that into my comprehension list, and hope to have time to recheck it one day. Back to the inner energy and inner casting. The augur wanted to make a way to cast spells the same way as powers, something like this. If it was applied on telekinesis, it can make the caster fly more freely. I also made my speculations and found that there is a possibility, a big one. The augur rooted his idea to the theory of bodies of man. He wrote that the physical body is the mortal flesh that binds the soul to Mundus. The soul, as the energy of life that powers up the flesh vessel and where the magica is stored. And finally, the astral body that works as vessel for the soul that gives it shape and connects it to the body. The ideas were a lot to take in, but I guess he had explained many things in a way or two. He is a damn genius, and I must see him soon. His ideas opened a way for the astral projection, one of the techniques that were thought that the Sijic order used to spy and communicate, let alone telepathy and all that. Can the sixth school of magic contain all the applications in my head right now? I'll take a break from using my mind now. I also need to supply my candlelight spell. Should I read Hilda's journal? To tell the truth, I don't want to. It will just give me more headache and might disturb my plans. Air. Fine, I'll read it. I grabbed the damn journal and looked at it. Why does the Fire Manes have such an insignia? Kind of reminds me with House Lannister. Let's see. I try to open it, but it won't open. The hell? This note is somehow stuck or something. Its front cover was extended and warped from the front of the note to the back cover, but it didn't move. Okay, now I'm pissed. Was this some sort of prank? Looking at the back cover, I noticed some words were written there. Bloodproof, Fireborn. What does this mean? Fireborn maybe refers to Firemane. Bloodproof is gross. Should I draw my blood on it to open? What am I? Naruto. Damn it. Fine. Here. Have some blood. Nothing. Now I look like an idiot. Looking right and left in the journal, my bloody finger touched the insignia on the journal. And it opened. Calm down. Deep breath. Let's see what's in. Underscore. Underscore. As I pass this phase of my life, I find myself in need to write some sort of reminder about my experience and a way to inform my clan of thoughts if I happen to fall in the coming battle. My name is Hilda Firemane, eldest daughter of Tjord, son of Jord, patriarch of the Greek clan Firemane of Skyrim. 4 times 10 to the power of negative 173, 7th of Frostfall. Me and my brothers led the family's people to aid the Imperial Legion. Our family wanted vengeance for my brother Tyr and relative Jonrad, as the two are assumed fallen under the elves' swords. My younger brother Tyr was on a mission with the Blades as he decided to join them following the footsteps of Jonrad Firemane, the son of my father's cousin, the one who was to inherit the clan, unless with the birth sign he was born under. I, with my brothers, rode our beasts and took part in some skirmishes against the bloody Dominion. 4 times 10 to the power of negative 174, 12th of second seed. The Thalmor leadership committed all available forces to the campaign in Cyrodiil, gambling on a decisive victory to end the war once and for all. The Imperial city was besieged from every corner. One army drove north to completely surround the city, while the main force attacked the walls from the south, east, and west. The Emperor's decision to fight his way out of the city rather than make a last stand was not wrong. He saved all of us. 4 times 10 to the power of negative 174, 4th of midyear. Linking up with reinforcements marching south from Skyrim under General Jonna. Meanwhile, however, the capital fell to the invaders and the sack of the Imperial city began. We heard later that the imperial palace was burned, the white gold tower itself looted, and all manner of atrocities carried out by the vengeful elves on the innocent populace. Not far later we heard that Jonrad Firemane was alive and retreated, but he has no news of Tyr. 4E-175, 6th of Morning Star. How can a winter be this cold? We Nords fear no cold, but I guess even we, the Fireborn, can be frostbitten. Some soldiers started deserting the camp. These were dark times indeed. Jonrad was raised in rank by Emperor Titus II. We made him drink all that day. Still, he was acting like a charmer around me. He also insisted that I would learn magic for healing. Not that I don't want, but I am the dumbest of my siblings. Jonrad is obsessed with fire magic. He insisted that our clan used to have those dragon knights of the legends, men that can use fire and never get harmed by it. He said that he joined the Blades to get closer to that goal. 4E-175, 25th of Morning Star. The Thalmor seemed to have believed that the war in Cyrodiil was all but over. They made several attempts to negotiate with Emperor Titus II. I don't know what Titus is waiting for, but Jonrad was busy and found no time to chat with me. I could only spend time fooling around with an imperial officer who was a friend of Tyr's. Her name was Kasha. 4 times 10 to the power of -175, 16th first seed. Tyr, that little weasel, actually was alive. He came with a party of an Argonian smuggler, a Dunmare sorceress called Lonith, a mysterious man who never showed his face. Legate Kasha took him directly to the Emperor. His arrival gave us hope. But Tyr had some bad news for the Emperor, and he was dispatched again to Cyrodiil with Kasha in his party. 4 times 10 to the power of -175, 29th of Rain's hand. The Emperor divided the army into 3. One army, with the legions from Hammerfell under General Decinus, but its movements were highly secretive. The second army, largely of Nord legions under General Jonna, took up position near Cheydinhole. This is the army where us Firemanes were assigned to. The main army was commanded by the Emperor himself, and there Jonrad was assigned. We are attacking. 4 times 10 to the power of -174, 13th second seed. At the 30th of Rain's hand, a bloodbath at the Red Ring began as General Decinus swept down on the city from the west, while we followed General Jonna's legionnaires and drove south along the Red Ring Road. In a 2-day assault, we crossed the Niben and advanced west, attempting to link up with Decinus's legions and thus surround the imperial city. The Dominion was taken by surprise by Decinus's assault, but our side faced bitter resistance as the Almarai counterattacked from Bravel and Skinrad. We held firm and stood bitterly. My clansmen suffered the least, but suffering was still suffering. By the 5th day of the battle, the Almarai army in the imperial city was surrounded. Emperor Titus II led the assault from the north, personally capturing Lord Nerafin, the Thalmor warlord. It is rumored the emperor wielded the famed sword Goldbrand, although this has never been officially confirmed by the imperial government. An attempt by the Almarai to break out of the city to the south was blocked by our side. That day my face got few scars. In the end, the main Almarai army in Cyrodiil was completely destroyed. Later that day, we discovered that Tyr was appointed with his party to a dangerous infiltration mission into the heart of the enemy camp way before the battle. During the infiltration, Tyr was fatally wounded and was taken by Kasha back to the Emperor's personal camp few hours before the start of the battle. 4 times 10 to the power of -175, 12th of midyear. Tyr made it, but his wound was not easy to heal. For what I heard, it was caused by some kind of magical weapon. Nerafin, that Thalmor warlord, was kept alive for 33 days, hanging from the White Gold Tower. It is not recorded where his body was buried, if it was buried at all. Some people swore that he was carried on the 34th day by a winged Daedra. Although victorious, we were in no shape to continue the war. The entire remaining force was gathered in Cyrodiil, exhausted and decimated by the Battle of the Red Ring. Not a single legion had more than half its soldiers fit for duty. Emperor Titus II knew that there would be no better time to negotiate peace. The Empire and the Almarai Dominion signed the White Gold Concordat ending the Great War. The terms were harsh, but the emperor believed that it was necessary to secure peace and give the empire a chance to regain its strength. The three harshest terms of the Concordat were the banning of the worship of Talos, the cession of a large section of southern Hammerfell, and disbanding the Blades. I was enraged and broke a wall that day. Jonrad said it was okay, and he won't lay down his sword. Hammerfell, that time, refused to accept the white gold Concordat, being unwilling to concede defeat and the loss of so much of their territory. This was the perfect place for Jonrad and me to be. Some of my brothers followed us. Some took Tyr and his Dunmare friend back to Skyrim. Chapter 57. Hilda's Journal, Mother's Faith. Four times 10 to the power of negative 178, second of Huthfire. It has been long since I have arrived to this alien desert. The unusual land and heat took a toll on me when I came here first. The fight against the Thalmor and their dominion proved hard, and we lost many good friends. My brothers were long since called back to Skyrim. I'm staying here, though. Jonrad is a mess without my help. He can forget meals when he starts researching his magic. I had to start learning magic, too. I really don't like complicated stuff. Just give me an axe and tell me who to chop. I know my mother and the female elders are all magic users, but how can they expect everyone to be this smart? My notes proved less important these days. I only get summoned by the forebears when there is a skirmish or a raid. Even Jonrad started complaining about how stupid this fight is becoming. His main goal was to master the fire magic. We started getting bored of fighting, so I decided to ask him to go back to Skyrim and continue his studies at Winterhold at least, but there was no helping it. 4 times 10 to the power of negative 178, 30th of sun's dusk. Jonrad made a huge leap in his research. He reached a great result in his search for the lost art. An unexpected visitors came to my door. Father and my brothers popped up out of nowhere. They asked me and Jonrad to return, but Jonrad can't miss the breakthroughs he achieved. Father told me and Jonrad to get married if we were to stay. Father always had a high opinion of Jonrad, so he didn't want Jonrad to stray from the family and have a chance to return one day. I myself wouldn't mind. 4 times 10 to the power of negative 179, 8th of Morningstar. We got married in Ellen here east of Hammerfell. Few number of friends and family were there. After it, Father took his people and left. He finished what he always wanted and tied Jonrad back to the family. The place we were planning to settle in was Dragonstar in the north between High Rock, Skyrim, and Hammerfell. Jonrad was following his obsession, and I was tagging along in his adventures. I can't complain, as I am the one who chose all this way of life. The only one who I am sad about is Old Man Fultheim. Ever since the disbanding of the Blades, he followed Jonrad as his attendant, and helped in everything one can help for. He doesn't speak much about his time in the war, though. 4 times 10 to the power of negative 179, second of First Seed. Dragonstar looked pretty much as a combination between Skyrim architecture, Hammerfell weather, and High Rock's people. I ran into an old friend being dragged to prison this morning. Someone can actually catch Delvin Mallory himself. This is a scandal. I talked with Jonrad to free the old fool. He proved useful many times to the clan, and we Firemanes value our friends. 4 times 10 to the power of negative 180, 15th of Midyear. I don't know if this is good news or bad news. The Red Guard signed a treaty with the Thalmor, and now we are in trouble. People like Jonrad and me are on the Thalmor's most wanted list. We killed a lot of their people, and they will use this treaty to finish off all the leaders of the resistance. The forebears assured us that nothing would happen, and they would protect us as long as we don't venture south into Hammerfell. Funny, they thought the Thalmor will have any respect to a treaty on a piece of paper. For a blade like Jonrad, The Havarti Thalmor saw him as a threat and must be taken down. Jonrad was concerned, and we planned to leave Hammerfell to High Rock. It will be much safer than going south or through the usual ways through the Empire. We could take a ship from there back to Skyrim. 4 times 10 to the power of negative 180 third of sun's height. We were preparing to leave north, but something happened. While I was at the market, a strange man saw me and jumped in fear. He mumbled so many words that I couldn't comprehend. Some of them were regarding 3 Elder Scrolls, a child, and me. I arrested the man with force and took him to Jonrad. The man said many things, but from what we could tell, I was carrying a child. I immediately ran to the monk in town and asked for a check. Indeed, I was pregnant. 4 times 10 to the power of negative 180, 5 RD of sun's height. The strange man was called Kellen, and he was a moth priest. These are the people who could read the Elder Scrolls. He said that he divinated that the child I am carrying is fated with acquiring 3 of the Elder Scrolls. I remember back at the Great War when the White Gold Treaty was signed. All of the Elder Scrolls in the Imperial Library mysteriously disappeared on their own. Then the priesthood of the Ancestor Moth went to look for them everywhere. This was not good. From the mess this man made in the market, the Thalmor will hear of it and will come with a heavy force after me. A child fated with 3 Elder Scrolls is something anyone would fear, or rather would want to acquire. We knocked the man unconscious and fled the city under the cover of darkness. We certainly detected many moves, but nothing we couldn't handle. 4 times 10 to the power of negative 180, 20th of sun's height. We found a refugee in an old resistance hideout. A friend of Jonrad took us in, and we were welcomed. We need a place to stay for a long time, so we sent Fultheim after that purpose. 4 times 10 to the power of negative 180, 6th of last seed. I couldn't write anything for a while. We changed locations after a certain accident. This so-called friend tried to poison Jonrad, but failed. We killed our way out. The man begged for mercy, saying that the Thalmor had his family. Why would I care? If something threatened my family, I'll murder 1,000 family in exchange. After that night, we kept traveling for days. 4 times 10 to the power of negative 180, 21st of last seed. Fultheim found a nice little village near Iliac Bay, a nice place to lay low. I also can't move much these days, and I also have to hide myself. 4 times 10 to the power of negative 180, 17th of Evening Star. For the last 4 months, Jonrad and Fultheim disguised themselves as farmers. I hid in the house the whole day. Many spies and informants passed the village, but no one could see through the father-son act of Fultheim, the fearless, and Jonrad Firemane. I also think I will give birth in a month or so. 4 times 10 to the power of negative 181, 29th of Morningstar. A week ago, I gave birth to a baby boy. A beautiful baby boy. We called him Jonhild, after Jonrad and Hilda. May Kine watch over him. 4 times 10 to the power of negative 181, 15th of Sun's Dawn. Jonhild is healthy, but he sleeps all the time. Only an old woman from the village could interact with me, so I understood from her some of this and that. Jonrad is planning something big. He and Fultheim will attract the biggest amount of pursuers possible north and open a path for me to the south. I will ride nonstop until I reach Cyrodiil. 4 times 10 to the power of negative 181, 20th of Sun's Dawn. I rode for a long time. Only thing I know that Jonrad and Fultheim attacked some Dominion ships in Iliac Bay, and it got ugly for the Dominion. I stopped in a village between Hammerfell and Skyrim. The borders were easy to cross. Now, I only have to wait for 2 days. If no one came, then I will ride alone to Cyrodiil. Hopefully I get to meet some old friends, or maybe Kasha. 4 times 10 to the power of negative 181, 22th of Sun's Dawn. Only Fultheim came back. Jonrad fought his way to the other side of Bay and escaped on a ship. Fultheim told me he was being cornered, but he doesn't know Firemanes when they ride the sea. No fish can corner a whale. Fultheim himself was a hero that day. When he was retreating, it was rumored between travelers that a swordsman killed 100 Thalmor agent. He gained the title Slayer that day. 4 times 10 to the power of negative 181, first of first seed. I tried to wait for a bit, but the Thalmor got wind of us. It was a hairy escape. Their greed over the Elder Scrolls made them send their operatives like crazed chase hounds. After a few days, we reached Bruma, the only stop before Skyrim. There were no hiding now. All parties knew we had a meet in Bruma. As we managed to hide Jonhild, we engaged in a bloody street fight. These elves were no match at all. They were nothing to hold us. The good elven fighters mostly died out long ago in the Great War. I killed an elf boy today just because he was in my way and was in the Dominion armor. After I took him with a blow, he fell and kept wailing for his mother. Why did any of this have to happen? When will this ever end? 4 times 10 to the power of negative 181, second of first seed. We ended the Thalmor operatives yesterday, so we gained ourselves a day of rest. Our plan is simple. Once the Thalmor catch up, their mounts would be exhausted. We only need to burn the stable on the way, and we will lose them for a fair amount of time. This is the last entry I think I will write in this note. Maybe in this life. We passed into Skyrim, but the Thalmor had a strong presence here. They were too damn organized. They even made deals with some of the clans. The way to Helgen was full of traps, and the way between the mountains is the safest route I could think of. Thankfully, Ivarstead was a remote place off the main road to Riften. I think I can count on Delvin for some help. He harbors good intentions for me and Jonrad since that day in Dragonstar. I knew of a way to contact him immediately, so I'll be on my way by tomorrow. Thankful I am to old Fultheim. How could a man be so loyal? He always plays with John and thinks highly of him. The old man should put his sword and rest, but his old ghosts still chase him from the war, till now. I have my ghosts too. Every night is a nightmare. Every day is a worry. If I can contact my clan, then all this will be solved. Yet these damn elves just don't want to give up. We killed many warriors and scouts, and some of their so-called justiciars. They still have no intention to back down. My choices grow less now. The only place that can provide us for the long journey is Riften. The Thalmor know that my aim is the family home in Eastmarsh. They have already blocked every road between me and home. Riften is my only choice left. It's a good detour, and I can resupply from there. Ivarstead has few to offer. I'll be able to feed Jonhild for only the coming 3 days. Jonhild, my child, my sweet child. What can I do to stop the world from coming after you? What can I do to protect you? You and your father share the same hair, eyes, and fate. He is somewhere, out there, fighting hordes of enemies. The Thalmor doesn't even know which one of us is carrying you. They suspect me the most as I am the mother, but they also made a counter for the reverse psychology and went after your father. That's right. Let's add one more twist to this. Your father became a decoy, and now it's my turn. Mother always said I lack faith, but this time I'll have faith. You and your father have strong fates, and I'll have faith in that. Even if I didn't live long enough to witness it, I can already see it. I can see you high among the clouds. You will reach that height as if nothing. It's already written in your eyes. I have faith in you, my son. You and your father share these lousy stars after all. Delvin is the right man for taking care of you if I no longer can keep you. See how fate played it out. Fear not, son. You are Jonhild, son of Jonrad, a fire-born mother and father. You have the heart of a fire mane, and beasts soothe in your presence. How could a mother be so blind? I feel no fear now. Still, you had the right to live in peace, and someone is denying you that. They don't know who they're facing now. I will wait to see you grow up into that great person you meant to be. I'll be the one to put a sword in your hands and teach you how to use it. This is my faith. This is my promise. Underscore, 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 underscore. Chapter 58, The Creation Club. Bonus chapter sponsored by @Angry_Bear, 2/4. When I wrote Hilda's journal, I always put at the end of every sentence. The reason is to imply that there is more to it than what's just written. It's not something I want to hide. or anything. It's just what you can think of as me giving myself space to add more in the future. Something like John Rad's personality and stuff like that. Don't think too much about it and enjoy. I knew things would never be that simple, but that's too crazy. There are too many things in my mind right now, too many things I want to say, but I can't just start shouting at night. If someone who knew nothing, a native from this world, would only see the journal as two parts. One part spoke about the Great War, and one part spoke of a struggling mother. But I, a reincarnated individual, saw more than just that. I was an emotional roller coaster, sometimes laughing about the things between Hilda and John Rad. Sometimes I got really immersed in the way Hilda described the vivid image of the war. Sometimes I just wanted to skip some embarrassing parts. Sometimes I was about to scream from the cosmic coincidences I found, something like Teacher Loneth. But most times I felt bitterness, hatred, and darkness. There were those who inflicted such a mental and emotional damage to Hilda. Extremely hateful, totally unforgivable. Not even 1,000 death can be a fair compensation. Fate, prophecy, Elder Scrolls. In the end, these are things mortals hold dearly. If my fate is prophesied to be entwined with 3 Elder Scrolls, then that is no news to me. I already know where these scrolls right now, and I don't even need them. It may help make things easier and acquire some valuables, but it is just a bother to even hold them around. The Elder Scrolls are godly artifacts with incomprehensible powers. They can allow one to look in the past and future. They can even do time warps and manipulate time itself, one of the most dangerous aspects of magic. Not just this and that. The mysteries of the Elder Scrolls are innumerable. For example, they can't be counted as they actually don't have a fixed numbers. They exist within space, could appear and disappear according to the need. I just think of them as the emails sent by a higher entity to guide lower entities, to show answers and make choices. That's the reason for their omnipresence property. Of course, they are terrifying to use. If someone acquired even a small Daedric artifact, then the whole surroundings would go up and down, let alone an Elder Scroll, let alone 3. I mean, the game franchise itself was called the Elder Scrolls. Whatever. I shouldn't think about the Elder Scrolls now anyway. Back to the content of this journal, or before that. This is no ordinary journal. I never took the blood proof seriously as I got absorbed in reading quickly. But now that I think about it, I don't even recognize the aspect of the enchantment. It's too mysterious. I can only guess it is something related to Restoration School. But what I don't know now is not important compared to what I learned from the content. First, my name is not John, but John Hild. I knew I chose the name in the character menu before, but this is just too weird. My parents are John Rad and Hilda, and they combined their names to make John Hild. John Hild Firemane, huh? Sounds nor enough to me. I also like the sound of it. John Rad is a member of the Blades. For some reason, I don't like the sound of it. He is also dedicated to fire magic. I guess he's my father for a reason. Anyway, he seems like someone I'll get along with. We can research tons of magic together, something like making total annihilation spells as a family project on weekends. But to think he is researching the Dragonites, I secretly felt proud about it. Dragon Knights were the followers of a martial tradition that emerged during the Second Era, originating from the dispersed Akaviri Dragon Guard. Their abilities were said to descend from the powers of dragons, although none had been seen a dragon for years at that time. They were particularly skilled at manipulating fire and could wreathe themselves in it completely without being harmed. This is something fearsome. And from the journal here, John Rad has reached a good level of mastery, as it seemed he attacked few ships in Iliac Bay, and some of them were destroyed by him. Hilda was abnormally strong too. When I met her, she was not someone I would think of going against even 4 years from now. Still, the amount of hardships she recorded in her journal made me feel bitter, and my throat felt like on fire. I was angry, and I still am. The last words she wrote actually made my eyes tear. Conflict over racial superiority and power is no strange between mankind and merkind, but it gets stranger and meaningless for those who live the action of conflict itself. They took their weapons to fight for peace, but eventually, only more blood was shed. I think I got to know my parents better. I am in conflicted emotions, yes, but I feel somewhat better. One other thing. Jonrad was supposed to be the clan's patriarch, but because of his birth sign, he was not allowed to be the patriarch. I also have the same birth sign as him from what Hilda wrote. I am confused. Birth signs are the stars one was born under, which means his zodiac sign in my past world. The signs in this world are sometimes a source of great power. And as I discovered before, I was born under the shadow stars, and no stars will give me power except them, unlike the game which allowed the player to switch them anytime. But here where it gets weirder. Hilda wrote, I was born on the 22nd of Morningstar, January, and as much as I appreciate finally knowing my birthday, it still meant that my stars are the ritual, not the shadow. I don't know how foreign stars can protect me without using a certain artifact that appeared in-game. Still, either one of the birth signs are widely favored between people. Does the clan have a certain rule about that thing or something? I'll have to ask Hilda about that. This is important. The thing that amused me the most was the topic about Uncle Delvin. He is my mentor in thievery, and all the stuff I learned from him were hard-earned knowledge. Nothing from the game like most of the other stuff. Funny thing is, he was actually caught once. This is a scandal, just as Hilda wrote. Delvin Mallory being dragged to prison is nothing we heard of before. This guy is the one who made the rules for the guild around Skyrim. He is not the leader, but he is the mastermind and the expert about business. Even though I prefer the ways of Big Sis Vex, I learned most from him, and he gave me my business nickname. Let's not talk about that to anyone. After collecting these information in a family drama folder and saving them in the important stuff memory, I now turn to the crazy stuff, the total Coco folder. In a journal, few names were mentioned that I was about to jump off my seat when I read them. Tyr, a night blade who appears to be my uncle. Lonith, the mysticism class teacher that was roped in by Nurina. She also said that she is a friend of Tyr Firemane, the Argonian smuggler, and the mysterious man that never showed his face. I can make a guess who are they. Lagate, Kasha, that seemed to be a good friend of Hilda and Tyr. Putting those 5 people together only meant one thing. Holy marbles, how could I forget such names? This is actually a hero party. The Forgotten Hero. They had a game that I only read about, but had no time to play. It was called The Elder Scrolls Legends, a card game released after The Elder Scrolls Skyrim to serve as a material and adding some drama into the Great War. The Forgotten Hero would rise to help a fellow prisoner from the Baldies named Tyr and would save the Empire with him along with other few people. The Forgotten Hero himself was not recognized or named by the game, but had 3 adventures. Other than the Great War, he had some action in High Rock and Cyrodiil with the Dark Brotherhood that led to their current decline, and he will have a 3rd adventure later. Unfortunately, I don't know the details. I haven't played this game, but I read the brief description of it. I guess I'll see Lonith into a new light now. I'm also looking forward to see any of the other people from that game. This was not the end of it. The name Fultheim is a bigger surprise. He is one of the most mysterious NPCs in the game. This guy was living in a traveler's inn in the middle of BU #F at Eurok nowhere. He had an Akaviri katana. The same one belongs to the blades. He also would attack the player if he or she was wearing the Thalmor gear. Many game theorists made videos about him, but all they concluded that he was a blade spending the rest of his life in seclusion after the disbanding of the blades. But to think he protected me when I was a baby and followed Jonrad as his attendant. Still, why is he not with the Firemanes? Man, this is truly a headache bringer. These amounts of information made my head hurt and my eyes heavy. I'll just head to bed. I think it's dawn now. Speaking of the bed, Jules was still sleeping. As I just lied beside her, she sensed me and engaged in a cuddle. This is nice. It's my first time cuddling. Let's try that. It started to get noisy outside. I guess the people are going for their classes and stalls in the morning. A few minutes later, someone knocked on my door. Normally, this is the boys' dorm, so if my upper half is naked, then no problem with it. But the one knocking the door was Lyle. Hey, WR. She was going to say something, but she suddenly lagged. She started to smile in a weird way while looking into my room. I realized that Jules was still in bed, so I covered the view with myself, but Lyle was already nose bleeding. We. I'll meet you guys in the club. I closed the door hurriedly. Damn it. This pervert of all times. Let's see what she wants. Switching back to the college robes, I took my bag that had my latest experiments and spells, then headed out to the club. Everyone was at the club already, and there seemed to be a meeting. What's going on? We are here as the 5 core and only members of the club to fill the form and get finally registered as a team. Lyle said. She seems to have wiped the blood, but looked a bit pale. Still, get registered? Oh, well, you see. Morbagog was trying to say something, but he was interrupted by Yisra. We are not an official team, yet. We need to be 5 at least. Why do you think we hide out here? So that's how it is. I am sorry I hid that from you, but please don't take it the wrong way. Morbagog was apologizing. It's okay. I already made my plans. So please. But I will be the one taking charge from now on. They all became silent. Of course, I just joined them, and now I'm going to order them around. Excuse me, but, John, Lyle was about to say something. Too perverted. All you'll keep doing is creating useless spells. They all went in silence. What I said was true. Morbagog was about to say something, but interrupted. It would be scary if you made a captain's speech. What about Yisra? Marin asked, pushing Yisra under the rail. Just staring at the fire won't help you understand how to alter its nature. What about Marin? Asked Yisra, who was depressed from my answer. Adding spooky blades to Dwemer automatons figures won't make it move. That's right. That team is a mess. I have brought you some of my small projects. The machine you were trying to create is done too. I put a sketch note in front of them. What? Seriously. This is not my usual sketch note. This is a new one for the club, having some minor ideas that can do for me. You can have a teaser trailer from afar for now. I took the note and showed it from afar. There were some sketches and wild ideas, as well as some calculations. See, can we please? Lyle was making puppy eyes. Ignored. No puppy eyes can affect a cat lover. Only if I became the team leader. They looked at each other, and Lyle felt dejected. Gah, fine, you are the team leader. She wrote it in the registration form. Okay, here. I gave them the notes, and they crowded together on it. I moved my eyes to the form. It had the 5 names of the first members, as well as the team type and name. A research team. Perfect. But what in oblivion is that name? The Creation Club? Chapter 59, Catatosker. I said Nexus. No, we already agreed to Creation Club. You guys don't understand. This is a really bad omen. We have already made a vote. Nexus. Creation Club. Nexus. Creation Club. Damn it. It's 4 against 1, John. So zip it. This was a fight about the team's name. They have agreed to call it the Creation Club. I really hated that name. Why, you ask? Back in my past life, there were 2 main platforms for Skyrim modding. The Nexus, which is preferred by most people, free of charge, and had all sorts of quality content. It was the pride and joy of us Skyrim gamers, even though the mods were not official and sometimes claimed to have a lot of bugs. On the other hand, there was the Creation Club. Think of it as the bad bully classmate you don't really like. The Creation Club was also a mod platform that was released by the official game company. It had its own mods different from the Nexus, and they were paid mods. Not just that, they were also claimed to work with the game just fine and have no bugs whatsoever. If you want to believe it, I guess. All in all, the Nexus is like the senpais of the soccer clubs, and the Creation Club is like the nerds from the manga research clubs. One knows exactly which one the girls like, and it feels like I joined the manga research club now. So, leader Wa, call me boss. All right. Boss, what are these things? What Morbagog was holding were some of my sketches. This is the magical water pumping machine, the same one the college uses, but this one can be powered by soul gems instead of the Magicka focus points. This one is also the seawater transmutation machine that also follow the same idea. But are there really any importance of any project like that? Not really. We will just create them for a side job later. The main projects will be this one and this one. I took 2 sketches out. This one is the thing you worked on before. To tell you the truth, your first work lacked a lot of calculations. This machine can sense and calculate one's magicka with this equation. We will call the term of the single magicka unit the magic's point, or MP for short. This is not really a far from the game idea. I used the petty soul gem as the basis of the calculation. In the game, the petty soul gem possessed 250 magicka point that can be noticed when someone uses the enchanting table. Based on that, I brought some petty soul gems filled to the brim and used my magicka detection until I comprehended the feels of 250 MP, then tried to apply the idea on a mechanical device, but I had no times to enchant and make one, mainly because of my lousy metalworking skill. This other sketch is more important. I said, this is the magicka output frequency detector, or what I like to call the duometer. I shamelessly named it after myself. Your naming sense is non-existent, boss. What? Say that again. Now stop making noises. Yusra interrupted. We know the use of the first device, but what is the use for that duometer? Well, as you see, it is made into the shape of a glove with a counter on its back. It's a device that detects the shape of the output of magicka from a mage's body, and the needle of the counter moves with it. Imagine if magicka comes from body for a spell like this. I took a paper and made a diagram for MP/SSE. If the spell is a channeling spell, it should look on the diagram like this. I drew a curve from the diagram's corner and reached a certain point, then continued with the line horizontally. If it's a spell that you charge, then cast, it should look like this. I drew another curve going up from the diagram's corner and reached a higher point, then took the line vertically down. As you can see, the magicka output grows higher as you charge, then it reaches the point where the spell is completely charged. After that you cast, and no magicka output comes out again. This one can imagine it. Marin said, now think of this as fully successful spells. How would the not fully successful and the unsuccessful spells look like? The line will be disturbed. Won't look neatly curved. Eliel said, exactly. For those who research small spells, this device will prove useful to detect the shortcomings. But what about those who work on master-level destruction spells? It will be essential, Morbagog said. He is right. Someone like Faralda will need this device more than anyone in the college now. If someone failed with a master-level destruction spell and it backfired on him or her, the consequences will be scary to just think of. Many mages died of just that. But this device won't simply save them by that. This device actually adds a safety mechanism. When a spell goes haywire and the needle starts shacking left and right, it would activate a safety mechanism. There are 3 abilities that I'm still not sure which one would be the most useful. Dispelling, Ward, or Silence. Dispelling is a safety mechanism that can make the glove dispel the spell that is about to go haywire. Its only problem is that the spell might be too strong and the effect we make is not strong enough. Wards to create a magic shield around the caster, but the backfired spell might be too powerful for it. Silence is a safety mechanism that stops the user from casting magic forcefully for a second. This also may prove dangerous as the spell might explode and leave the mage defenseless. After a heated conversation with the team, we reached the conclusion to use Dispel as it was the safest idea. Okay, I guess that's what we will work on now. By the time of the coming exam, the 4 of us will be done with the projects in hand, and we'll take new ideas. Yes, boss. Morbagog was fired up. Marin, I'll be needing your engineering skill to build a villa and some project out in Winterhold. So be sure to free some time when the time comes. The giant Khajiit opened his eyes wide. You are having a villa in Winterhold. Yes, what of it? The Jarl is not going to leave a mage in his town. He may not be able to harass us around the college, but some suspect him for attempts on some mages away from the town and the college. You sure about that? I heard about that too. Yisra said some mages before attempted to make good relationships between the college and the town, but some of them received strong opposition from the Jarl. Some of those who really caused him headache died in places near the coastline. This is more than what I thought it would be. Thanks for the heads up, but I can't back down yet. I think I should be going now. Wait, Eliel called. What is in that 5th sketch? 5th? I didn't bring any fifth. This design. Alile showed it. Oh, it must have got stuck with the other papers. The rest took a look and liked what they saw. It looks strange, but I like it. Does it spew fire? Marin thinks the design looks a bit elven. These idiots. This is an otherworldly weapon. I was just drawing some stuff. Oh, what's it called? Marin was taking a liking on anything with the genre of weapons. AK-47. Strange name. Is it really elven? I guess it was made by the Soviet elves. Who are those? The Almarai Dominion from my past life. Past life? Oh, I had one of those, you know. I said, let me tell you about the dragons, too. After a while, I left the club. I met with Julliner in the way and told her to bring my Skyforged saber to Nurina's room. My next target was the stalls in the corridor. I was looking for a decent armor and a weapon. It may be the college, but that doesn't mean we don't use armors or weapons. Some of the battle styles in the college requires the mage to be familiar with close-range combat, just like the guys from the tournament. And speaking of the devil, I just ran into Svedal and Svefna. They show me a good stall for armors and weapons. I bought something for Trudvar, my house Garl to be. My next on schedule was a meeting I wanted to make some time ago. I headed directly to the Hall of Countenance and looked in the places where the scholars go to eat and relax. I should find him anywhere here. Here he is. Hello. May I bother you for some time, sir? I spoke friendly to a Bossmare Scholar Seniors. You are one of those first-year and acting dumb boys. Please go do that somewhere else. The scholar was annoyed with me. He is an elf, so his reaction is a bit expected. I'm known as John Dare, and John Dare, the rumored son of Archwizard Nurina Arin, the one with the legendary score in the rank-up exam and a champion of the tournament. Also the one who destroyed Orthorn balls? Oh, well, I am that famous. Of course. I don't know what good fate led you to me, but I am sure we will get along. My name is Enthur. And my team handle most of the stalls around here, and I was looking for a chance to invite you abroad. I am Sir. Cut the crap. I said, this elf won't end it today. Why? He was taken aback and trying to process the situation. Old Delvin says, hey. I said with a smile. What? Enthur jumped from his seat, but he looked around to check that no one saw his miserable appearance. Old Delvin. Like? Boss Mallory? That's him. You. Enthur looked and checked me. You are one of his people? Yes, you can rest assured. His people meant the people who are in good relationship with Delvin, but not Mercer Fry. There's a big fraction in the guild since Mercer became the boss many years ago. No one liked the way he did things, but more importantly, Delvin had his suspicions about Mercer and had his small circle away from Mercer's. Actually, Delvin is right, as the game proved later, but currently my rank is a bit low for me to act against Mercer personally. Enthur also wasn't fond of Mercer, so he wasn't sure how to deal with me, even after me trying to calm him. Okay, can this make you at ease? I moved my left sleeve up and showed my arm to Enthur. There was a tattoo on it. This can't be. You are Catatosk? Yes, it's me. If anyone from modern Earth saw the small tattoo on my arm, they would think badly of me. Why would someone have a Hello Kitty tattoo like this? I actually hate it too. But to others, this tattoo meant Catatosker, and it has a big story in the guild. Catatosker is a twist for Ratatosker, a squirrel who runs up and down the world tree Yggdrasil to carry messages between the eagle Verflner, perched atop Yggdrasil, and the serpent Her, who dwells beneath one of the 3 roots of the tree. My oh my, I heard the stories about you. A kid who was brought up by Delvin and became one of the 7 horrors of Riften. He was right. Catatosker is my business nickname in the guild. I used to climb walls and run rooftops, so I was called Catatosker. Also, the 7 horrors of Riften are Njaka the Cannibal, a serial killer cook, the Red Cat, known to the thieves as Catatosker, the Ratway, as a place, the Thieves' Guild, itself, the tavern known as the Ragged Flagon, the Face Butcher, correctly the Face Sculptor, and finally, Maven Blackbriar, herself. Funny enough, 6 of the 7 are from the Ratway itself. And the name, Catatosker, was made for me to avoid being known as the boy who shouted a war cry in Riften. Anyway, I'll be needing some favors from now on. Can you be relied on? What kind of question is that? Thur said angrily. And here I was going to offer you some discounts. Well appreciated, but I pay back my way. I don't ***T where I eat. Oh, the reference is new, but hard on my emotions, you know. Fine, what can I help you with? I want to know the deal with that Jarl career. Oh, career. Well, that's not easy to say. Unless it is the college, this guy has a firm grasp on Winterhold, or that what it seemed to be. I'm not really into this kind of secrets, and I advise you to stay out of it. Winterhold is a realm that belongs to one of the hidden clans, and career is just a mascot. Hidden clans? Something like Firemane Clan? So you heard of them. The Firemanes are not entirely hidden, as they are known to live in Eastmarch and have a large business as sailors and horse traders. What exactly are the hidden clans? You are asking what is the color of air. No one knows. What is known are clans like those Firemanes. I also heard of other names in the sea like the Blood Sails, a clan that has a pirate group called the Blood Horkers. Seriously? And if you thought it ends here, then you are mistaken. Some of the hidden clans has Akaviri roots. Some are ancient clans of vampires. Some are powerful Daedra worshippers. You gotta be kidding me. What is more important is that these clans has no interest in the normal world most of the time. They possess small armies with very high capabilities. They even don't think of the kings and jarls as equal. Damn, this is not even one tiny bit from the game. The game? Forget about it. Just how did you acquire such information? What do you think I was doing here in Winterhold all this time? I'm only able to do business here just because the college is too powerful as an entity, and even a hidden clan would have to think twice before crossing our path. What about outside the town? If you're targeted, you will be hunted like a dog. I once watched some mages got killed just because they stuck their noses in the town business. Thur said, there's also some fool who appeared in the town yesterday and made some trouble with the Jarl. Ha ha ha. $HT. Such a fool exists? Ha. Can you believe it? I am so going to kill myself now. The embarrassment. So who are the ones that normally deal with career? Thur thought for a while and said, the Blood Horkers. Chapter 60, Power Up. I'm not a smart person, and I'll never claim to be one, as smart people would back out in a situation like me. It seems that these Blood Horkers work under some big clan called Blood Sails, which means I'm facing a Jarl who is backed by pirates who are backed by some superpower, and I must make it through. Feels like my kind of adventure. One needs to fight some super hidden force from time to time to keep up a good health. Damn it, I feel miserable. Let's just face what is coming at us now. I'll deal with that career in a way that would make him regret crossing my path. A helmet he wants? A helmet he will get. With something extra, of course. Thur, as any other thief, was a slimy bastard, but he was easy to deal with. He also showed me some of his collection. I bought a book called Wind and Sand and a Grand Soul gem. Wind and Sand is an important book that came from Hammerfell for those who want to research the air magic. Normally, the Destruction School had 3 forms of energy that are considered as elements. The Flame and Lightning, who are known as legit energies, and the Frost, who is an alteration of the energy nature to its coldest form. After all, frost magic is not ice magic, even though it can cause ice to form. Saying farewells to Thur, I headed to Nurina's. Nurina was lazing around. She got energetic when I told her what I have done in Winterhold. She also seemed to know a thing or two about what happens in the town. I definitely didn't tell her about my bathhouse plan, but I said I wanted to make some project there. That wasn't entirely a lie. The bathhouse is just a way to make a money circulation in Winterhold, and as long as it is successful, I'll start a new business immediately. She also was concerned about the journal. Hilda seemed to have told her about what happened, but the journal had more serious matters, including the thing with Lonith. She was really planning on supporting me on what is going to happen from now on. She also seemed to have finished another Atronak spell in one day. It was a Flame Wolf Atronak, but few times larger than the normal thing. It also needed a more powerful Atronak to expand the body that much. Last thing we talked about was the plan to deal with the trouble from a Jarl of Winterhold. Gotta admit, Nurina can be scary when she plans for something mischievous. I also gave her the Grand Soul gem I just bought and asked her to enchant my Skyforged saber. We argued once again about the enchantment, but I won this time. My enchantment was a bit tricky to handle, but the result of its success will be scary. Unlike my Agni-Ra, which relied on the sun element to deal more damage, this enchantment was a double enchantment that had two effects, and they were nasty. The first is burden. This enchantment will put weight on any object the blade touches for some time, including objects and in people. The second enchantment is paralyze, which is going to do what its name said. This weapon will devastate its targets. I am proud of it for some reason. So, how will you deal with career? The man asked for a helmet. It would be a shame if he didn't wear it, so I'll ask him in public to put it on. What is the point? Well, you can imagine what an enchanted helmet would do if it was enchanted with a curse, right? Nurina opened her eyes, then narrowed them. She thought for a while. Fine, but what will happen if you got pursuers? I will not be going to Hobbs Fall first. I also have some business arrangements I need to see to first. Oh, I am looking forward to see what you will do. I headed out just before sunset. Nurina helped me with some of my researches, and I guess I am ready to go and test the new spells now. I chose to go above the Hall of the Elements. The roof can be accessed through any tower, and from there the roof itself is circular, and one can go around the college easily. The weather was cold and a bit windy, but it was just perfect. Some students were here, too, but everyone was doing his own tests. I chose the farthest place from anyone, and now everything was ready. The first is from a detection aspect. Now, my new spell was Pinpoint. It's a spell that can mark anyone or anything and will make me detect it better. My plan was to wait for any bird and cast it on it, and here was it. An ivory gull flew past my head, and I started spamming the spell like a mad. It finally hit the bird on the 7th try. Nothing happened to the bird, and I'm sure it didn't even feel anything. Now, for the result. I felt a special feeling when the bird got further. I can close my eyes and still sense its location, but as it got to a certain distance, I could feel it no more. This was wonderful. I kind of took liking on the spell, but it had more applications than just this. If it got associated with space or soul magics, it can become Space Mark or Soul Mark, useful for both teleporting and telepathy. The current use for the spell also was not bad. It could be considered a lock-on spell. I casted it on another bird, then casted Sunfire. The spell wouldn't harm a living being, but it scared the bird when it homed after it. The second spell I wanted to test was a new aspect for the first time. It's the Force aspect. Basically, it is telekinetic force. Telekinesis is a high-end spell that drains a lot of magicka, but this spell is a smaller version of it. It's called Grip Spell. It's basically as its name. My naming sense is kind of honest, so I won't be calling it something like the Grip of Might or anything, just Grip will do. I took out a tankard I picked on the way here and threw it ahead. Evoking a new spell was kind of pain, and my magicka was not very focused yet. Still, I was too good to make a spell go haywire. After few tries, I managed to grab the tankard with the spell. It moved up and down easily. Grip can create a controlling effect with the same size as a grip and add some shiny effect to that. When I become better with it, I'll be able to choke people with it or maybe crush objects with it. Telekinesis can do the same, but the effect can take larger objects. The next spell was from the same aspect. It was called Force Bullet, and just like the name, it would make a bullet from telekinetic force. It had a nasty effect when it took that shape. The next spell I wanted to try, but was a bit illegal, was a soul magic. The reason for its nastiness was because it was an attack that would harm the astral body. I called it Soul Scorch. This was just as nasty as it sounded. I'll try it on some bandit later. There is also that spell that I was dying to learn since the time in Solitude. It is that Soulfire, a spell that I mistakenly categorized as a soul magic, but was an inner magicka control, just like the notes of the augur said. I had no real way to test its effect, but I could get the feels of it. It can power up an enchanted artifact directly from the magicka pool and don't consume the magicka of the artifact itself. After moving the sound and light to alteration, I try to make new spells for them. My failure was epic at these two for some reason, but in a desperate act, I combined the two aspects in a blast spell and called it Flashbang. It can make a high-pitched explosion with a nasty light effect, kind of similar to these flashbangs that the police uses. From a new spells that Nurina gave me were the Bound Bow and Bound Spear. This was good. I wanted these two spells for a long time. The Spear is the best weapon to use on horseback, and the Bow is the best counterweapon against mages. I didn't put any effort in conjuration or destruction this time. I skipped directly to illusion. My first aspect was the main aspect of illusion, and it was the aspect of mind, the aspect that holds most of the illusion tricks like fear, fury, calm, and all that. The spell I learned was Paralyze. Its effect was common and was one of the very favored spells between mages, so it was greatly evolved and widely used. I cast on a bird, which lost all of its senses and fell. I caught it, though. That's why I was practicing grip first. The next aspect of illusion was will. This was a tricky one. Wills are hardly broken or manipulated, but some small altering can cause a great effect. This spell was called Insinuate. Just like how Lucifer, or Satan, insinuates people, this spell has a similar effect of causing suspicions to be remote to the mind of the target. It was a weak spell, but if it was used in the right way, it can be my new magnum opus. Next aspect was the vision. I learned a night vision spell. The effect was great. From the same aspect, I made a blindness spell. I don't think it would have any use in actual combat, as I will be more focused on harming the target, not blinding it. Holy Smite was my new original sun spell based on the Fireball spell. It is also an adept level spell. And another new spell was Paladin's Aura, a sun cloak spell that can make all undead suffer damage. After that, the spell I wanted to try was Reflection Ward, a ward that can reflect all magic like a charm. I wrecked my brain around that one since the time in Riften and finally made it. The last thing I wanted to check was something I managed to comprehend after I made the Force Bullet spell. I took the tankard and put it on the edge of the wall. The sun was already setting and only a small red hue was there. I hope this will work. I positioned the tankard really well and ran back 10 meters. And now, the moment of truth. Ahem. Breath and open eyes widely F. Excuse me. Asterisk cough, cough. Sorry, I surprised you. Ahem. It's Oka. It's okay now. No, I am deeply sorry. I just wanted to say, if you're going to blow that tanker with a spell, then do it that way. This way is the direction of the docks, and the sailors always complain about stuff falling on them from here. Oh, so it was like that. Thank you, miss. I'll do it that way. Fine now. The girl gave me a thumbs up. Okay, let's do it again. Ahem. Breath in. Chatter, chatter, chatter. What is it now? I look back to see some students looking my way and talking. Something wrong? No, we just think you'll cast a big spell, so we will just watch from far. The same young miss said. Okay, fine. Boy, this is embarrassing. Ahem. Breath in. Fuss aroda. Let's just say it all went well. Yes, let's just say that, despite the fact that these students pissed themselves, and the light snow on the roof flew everywhere. Some teachers ran up to check out what happened, but I was taking the stairs down. I even gave them direction, the wrong one, of course. Reaching my room was a struggle, but thank goodness I had my hood on. Thinking about the shout, my head is still feeling light from it. It was marvelous. I felt like the space was being torn when the last word was said. But I think I was mistaken to do it around these students. None of them had the strength to stand after they witnessed the power, even though they stood behind me. Anyway, I'll cower into my room and call it a day. But something was not right. I am afraid this kind of looks like my room, but something changed. Welcome back, John. Oh, that's Joel's, so she did some redecorating. She is also calling me by my name. So she moved our beds beside each other and brought a wooden tub from somewhere. There's also a meal on the table. You did all that? Asterisk giggles asterisk. So tell me, John. Tell you what. Do you want a bath? Do you want dinner? Or do you want me? Degree. John. Author. Okay, sorry. Geez. Ungrateful bastard. 10 seconds back in time. You did all that? Yes. Thanks. You better head to bed now. We have a ship to catch tomorrow. A ship? Aren't we going to that cave? What? No, not so soon. Where are we going then? Hee. We are visiting a friend in Dawnstar. John spells. Hashtag mysticism. Magica outer control. Channel. Absorb/supply. Dispel drain. Detection. Energy matter. Scan. Change from detect. Pinpoint new. Force. Telekinesis new. Grab new. Force bullet new. Featherfall. Move from alteration. Soul. Scorch new. Trap. Necromancy. Reanimate. Supply undead. Divination. Alarm. Clairvoyance. Time. Accelerate. Inner Magica control. New. Soulfire new. Hashtag alteration. Matter. Burden. Feather. Object. Stone skin. Flame skin. Light. Move to alteration. Candlelight. Sound. Move to alteration. Muffle. Create new. Throw voice new. Combination. New. Flashbang new. Hashtag conjuration. Control summon. Command banish. Bound unbound. Supply Deidre. Bound weapon. Sword. Dagger. Battle axe. Bow new. Spear new. Conjure familiar. Mouse, cat, falcon, owl, wolf. Conjure undead. Ghost. Bowman. Conjure Atronak. Flame. Normal. Horse. Frost. Normal. Utility. Hashtag destruction. Flame. Flames. Firebolt. Fire rune. Fireball. Shock. Sparks. Lightning bolt. Lightning rune. Chain lightning. Lightning cloak. Hashtag illusion. Mind. Courage. Fury. Calm. Fear. Paralyze new. Will new. Insinuate new. Vision. New. Night vision new. Blindness new. Hashtag restoration. Vitality. Healing. Drain vitality. Ward. Steadfast ward. Reflection ward new. Quadrant ward. Sun. Sunrays. Sunfire. Sun rune. Holy smite new. Paladins. Aura new. Underscore 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 underscore. Hashtag special powers. Racial. War cry. Buff allies. Scare foes. Standing stone. Shadow stone. Hide in shadows. Sneak buff. Blue combat speed buff. Blood lineage. Resi's fire. Underscore 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 underscore. Hashtag Thursdayum. Unrelenting force. Fuss force. Row balance. Da push new. Chapter 61. Pirates. The morning was cold, too cold that even a warm dorm felt colder than usual. I had to send Joel to the town for delivering the new armor for Trudvar. I had some arrangements to be done, and Nurina had a shopping list, so I had to move fast that early. The Icicle is the ship of the college I arrived on, was going to restock from Dawnstar, so I made my arrangements with them yesterday. After a few minutes, I was standing outside the college with Joliner and Trudvar as I was giving them their weapons. Here for you. You will use my hammer. I gave my Ugmi RA to Trudvar. Isn't this the boss's hammer that was used in the tournament? Yes, it's my favorite weapon, so make sure to safeguard it well. I said, Joel's, these are for you. I gave her 2 short swords that suited her style. Now to the ship. The ship boss. Oh, forgot to tell. The main road may be filled with some intentional unwanted encounters, so we are taking the ship to Dawnstar. Dawnstar, a friend is going to be there. He will be of much help in this quest. Yes, boss. We took the steps down to the docks. Unlike the appearance I and Joel's came in, was dressed in the college robes over my scale cuirass, and Joel's was in a dark-fitting light armor. As we reached the end of the stairs, we could see old Captain Geldof shouting at his sailors. Yet, when he saw me, his attitude completely switched. Huh, you came, lad. Come aboard, we have a short journey this time. He was as cheerful as ever now. Let's hope this trip take no much time. Sometime later, the icicles set sail. This trip would take 2 days. Pretty good time to practice spells and cultivate. Time passed peacefully for a while. I was sitting in the cabin with Jules, who was lazing around doing nothing, or she was playing with her new twin swords. She took a liking on them. My mind was actually on my research. I was thinking of applying the inner magica control into my so-called cultivation. The inner magica control is mysterious, and its applications are awesome. I can recreate many ideas from the fantasy novels and techniques just when I put it with another ideas. The most important two techniques I can think of is how to circulate magica in my body and using it to add strength by energizing my body. I think this will open a door for the actual combat energy, or what others used to call battle spirit, or stuff like that. Also, to discover more aspects, I try to look into the current ones and think of their reverse. Necromancy, for example, is a magic to manipulate the dead, so shouldn't there be a magic to do the opposite? I'm not talking about the light magic, or what's called here sun magic. I'm talking about the life magic or the nature magic. History recorded many mages who had the ability to communicate with nature. Humans also make nature part of the goddess kind, or Kinnereth specialties, and I'll say the same about Ifer or Jeffra. The correct way to manipulate nature with magica, in my opinion, is divided to flora and fauna. One needs to communicate with both green nature and wild nature to start the first steps in this path. I'll call it the way of the druid from now on. The other kinds I am after are both the space magic and the time magic. Space magic needs a lot of spatial awareness and understanding of the energy of space itself. Time is even harder. Narina gave me a long lecture about that. I know these two magics are Sigic's specialty and hard to master, so I associated them with mysticism even though I felt they belonged to alteration. Why not? As I know that both magics are part of the nature around man. But that's a long theory I left aside. To reach all the magics I thought about just now is to understand them or detect them. This goes without saying that my detection magic I am practicing now is the most important step in the way to unlock and understand new abilities. The scary thing is I am increasing my power in order to find these mysterious magics. Increasing power like this is not a good thing. It's dangerous and may cause a catastrophic result one day. I am guessing that one day my body may no longer be able to keep my energy in and some accident happen. Something like what happened to the augur. I must have talked to him before I leave, but it would have taken a long time to prove to him that I am worthy with knowledge. He is very particular about passing the knowledge. My last concern in the mysticism right now is the opposite of detection, the divination. When normal people think of mystics, they think of those who can tell the future, scrying of fate, and all that. I learned 2 spells in divination. One of them was passed down to me by Narina, and it's my alarm spell, that spell that saved my life who knows how many times. I also learned clairvoyance, a spell that guides one by his need to his target, but it's really a hard-to-control spell. Speaking of alarm spell, I'm hearing the tech in my head, and I'm getting a bit nervous because of it. Something is wrong. Joel also noticed and moved with me. Her ears are sharper than mine, so she must have heard something. What's going on? I asked. I'm not sure, but a lot of footsteps are sounding from the deck. Up we go. Unsheathing our blades, we headed up to deck. The deck was a mess. The sailors were running around everywhere, and arrows were coming and going. I didn't step on the deck yet. I still had to assess the situation. What's going on? I grabbed one of the sailors and pulled him to me. Don't you see? Pirates. Pirates. Oh, what a high-spirited fellow. But pirates. This ship carried the banner of the college. No pirate shall be this ignorant and attack the ship. We're going here. I evoked Stone Skin and cast it on Joel, then on myself. I won't forgive you if something happened to you, she said. Hee hee. The same back to you. We ran onto the storm of arrows. I hate arrows. Third-person POV. 2 vessels attacked the icicle from each side. One was a small vessel, and one was a little bit smaller than the icicle itself. The pirate banners indicated that they are not the usual pirates of these parts. These were Argonian pirates. After the war in Morrowind between the Dunmere and the Argonians, Morrowind lost a big part of its territory to Blackmarsh in what is known as the Accession War, a war about seeking revenge for thousands of years of slavery, or so one theory goes. Now, after nearly 200 years, new Argonian pirates started to emerge in the north of Skyrim. John was for the first time witnessing a naval skirmish, and he didn't take a liking to it. They're just shooting arrows at each other like this? He thought. Normally, he didn't see any pirating scenes like this in movies. The golden age of pirates during the Gunpowder era was only known to him, so this to him was a sort of disappointment. Captain Geldof, how are we going to deal with this? John took cover beside the captain and asked. If it was one side, then it would be easy. We can't focus on that caravel with that small sloop on our back. My quartermaster is injured, lad. This is your time to shine. I am using the classification by size. Sloop is a small vessel with a single mast. Think of it as merry-go from One Piece. Caravel is a long and light ship with 2 masts in normal cases, 20 m long. The Icicle is a Nordic brigantine. I am posting a pic for the ship types on Discord. I don't want to shine, John retorted. Haha, that's the spirit, lad. Go to Frocky, you know him? Figure out a way to secure our backs from that small one. We'll send the other to oblivion. John was having a headache. In this madness, this old man was able to find a way to feel excited. Fine. John jumped and took cover after cover as he reached a sailor called Frocky. Joel was behind him all the time. Captain said to send that small boat to oblivion. John said, it's not going to be easy. We need someone that can cast fireball at least. I can cast it. Boy, we only brought you to the college 2 weeks ago. Shut up and do as I say. I'll blow these F*****curs up, so give me some damn cover. Notch arrows. Farky didn't argue more and trusted John. John was already evoking a fireball each hand and waiting for the cover fire. Loose. With the sounds of arrows cutting the air, the pirates on the sloop hid behind anything that could find. This was John's time to shine. He cast the first spell and targeted the area behind the mast where most pirates hid. The second spell was cast at the place he could see most of the pirates' arrows were stored. He wasn't done yet. He was evoking a third spell hurriedly, but the pirates started to target him wholeheartedly. As he was dodging back, he was finally done with charging the spell and targeted the sail. The 3 spells landed and exploded splendidly well. The first put many pirates in critical states. The second is going to cripple their shooting as most of the arrows were destroyed, and the third was a goodbye gift. Ismir. Frocky was witnessing the one-side bombardment and couldn't help but feel happy. In his head, 1 spell was good enough, let alone 3. Ready your arrows. We'll give them another round. Frocky. They're throwing the hawks. A sailor shouted. Oblivion. They are persistent. Don't mind that now, John said. I'm going to the quarterdeck. I'll need cover there. John ran, while covering himself with a broken barrel. Farky saw that and commanded the 10 or so sailors to follow. As they reached the quarterdeck, John was already done with charging a spell. Take cover. Once you hear a strong noise, random nonstop, remember, never look to that spell. The sailors lowered their heads to cover and nodded. John was the one giving orders now. John cast a grip spell on the barrel and moved it away in the air. The pirates naturally thought someone was trying to sneak on them and rained the barrel with arrows. 10 meters away from the barrel, John was charging a spell with all his might. Now, take this. He cast the spell from his cover randomly in the middle of pirates. An awful ringing noise and a strong light exploded on the pirate sloop. The pirates started screaming from the noise and closed their eyes from the strong light. Give them everything. With John command, Farky and the other sailors, as well as Julliner, started raining arrows randomly at the Argonian pirates. John returned to his cover and started charging his spell. This was the normal fireball that he used to blast the pirates minutes ago. But this time he was dual casting it, 1 spell 2 hands. He reached a certain point where a spell is fully charged, but he wasn't done yet. He was overcharging the spell. The fireball in his hand was growing larger and larger until its diameter reached 1 meter. "Get back!" John shouted, and the sailors ran like undead, escaping from the sun. John carried the spell over his head, and it looked like he was carrying a small sun. "Take this, you curs. Odom fireball." The fireball flew towards the pirate vessel, delivering the final blow. The pirates were in no shape to look at what is coming at them, but those who saw were already running to the sea. Still, the furball reached its target. A thundering explosion, as if an expert spell was cast. This was akin to the wrath of the primordial gods smiting down their foes. No vessel was seen after the strong explosion and shockwave, as if nothing was there, except for small pieces of wood and smoke that appeared on surface. This rather felt really terrifying. John's face was twitching from awkwardness. "Joel, did I overdo the last spell?" Joel looked between him and the place that was supposed to be the location of the pirate vessel. "No, you just made our efforts seem as if nothing." "Oh, gotta cover that up now." John said, "Ahem. Good job, everyone. Now to the next ship." The sailors were terrified and nodded. They ran to help with the fight on the other side. "Joel, that small bag you carrying has a blue potion. Hurry up. I am low on juice." "Here." Joel gave him the blue potion. John was being refreshed as he was drinking it, but the potions in real life are much slower than the one in game. It would take 15 minutes to digest the effect of the potion completely. While enjoying the drink, noise erupted from the other side of the ship, and it started to shake. "The pirates are going into melee." Joel checked and reported. "Let's join the fray." Even though he was low on magicka, John unsheathed his sword and went towards the fight. He was craving for a group fight like this. The place was hectic. Fight erupted on both ships, and the pirates were fierce fighters. John was thinking how to deal with a situation like this, but he was rather not experienced in this sort of fights. His slight lag attracted a pirate to him. The Argonian pirate was not an easy foe. He slashed at John left and right. He was physically superior to John and with the same speed. John was put into a disadvantage really fast. Still, tricks were his favorite part in a fight. His right hand had his saber, and his left evoked a spell. The spell was not really visible, so it gave him a better opportunity to trap his foe. Once the pirate was making a big slash, John cast the spell. The spell landed on the torso of the pirate, as if flesh was being shattered. The spell destroyed a small part of the body, and the pirate screamed from pain. This was force bullet, and that's why it was nasty. It would bruise in the target, causing such an unsightly result. John's next attack was with the sword to the pirate's heart. Life departed the pirate after that. The second foe was not much better. The third, the fourth, the fifth. John started to get accustomed to the hectic, unorganized combat, and his brain was working like a machine. The pirates felt tinny threat and started retreating to their ship. They noticed that the cover from the small sloop vessel was no more and started to reconsider the attack. The sailors wouldn't let go of such an opportunity and chased the pirates to their ship. The fight completely moved to the other side. The sailors became the pirates, and the pirates became the defenders. The reason was simple. The college takes no mercy on anything that disturbs its main vein of life, and pirates around these parts were well aware of the fact. No one of them was stupid enough to attack a vessel with the banner of the college. John was also one of those who boarded the other ship, and he was akin to a killing machine. He sheathed his sword and switched to lightning magic. This was a nasty magic in the sea. He was casting chain lightning, as he already recovered some magicka, and he took no chance with these pirates. No one noticed his state of mind except Captain Geldof. He was not fighting normally anymore. He was on a killing spree. This state of mind tests most of the powerful young mages and warriors, and so they had to beat it on their own. The pirates grew less and less, but John was as fierce as ever. Those pirates were akin to mobs in a game, and he was into the zone right now. He didn't take notice of how many he killed. Even the sailors behind him were terrified, especially the ones who saw the large fireball he cast a while ago were even more terrified. He was like a wolf between a herd of sheep. Joliner was behind John all the time and took some distance from him. Those who tried to sneak up on him was done by her arrows. She never showed it a lot, but even though she was one-eyed, she was a terrifying archer. At that day, about 70 pirates attacked the Icicle, which had 40 sailors on it. Jean alone killed 30 pirates and sank a small vessel on his own. Days later, when the sailors will go back to Winterhold, and a new title shall be added to John, the Mad Butcher. First-person POV. Damn all. I don't know how this happened, but the moment I joined the fight, I lost all senses of myself. As if I answered a higher calling, my instincts drove me to kill. The more I kill, the more they scream. I burned them with lightning until I could smell the burnt flesh. As if I want to cover these screams with anything, I cast more magic to stop their voices from reaching my ears. How many of them I killed was not a number I can count. My only consolation was that they were pirates. The captain said they were not from these parts and their heads are not wanted yet, so we threw them at the sea. I don't think they would mind that. Argonians love water, and so do sailors. Argonian sailors would not be sad about it, right? Every time I had to take a life, I preferred it would be a quick stab or a swift arrow. For some reason, it was less messy, clean, and the victim wouldn't be in so much agony. How did Hilda feel about this? I mean, she fought in a war, right? There were thousands of enemies compared to this small fight. How many does one have to kill in a war to survive like those veterans did? Maybe I was a different case. I killed a lot on my own. I should have held myself back a bit. Now the sailors are afraid of me. But I'm not afraid of who I am. I would be mistaken if I did. After all, I acquired this power for that very reason. To kill enemies like a mad. To smile over their corpses as the fools who tried to bring sadness to my loved ones. Just like those fools who chased after Hilda all the way from Hammerfell to Rift 10. I remember reading that Jonrad did the same thing in Iliac Bay. He attacked some ships and sank them with fire. Indeed, like a father, like a son. Damn it, I smiled. The sailors got creeped out by me again. No problem. I just started this path, and I'll take it to its end. That was fun. A soft voice sounded in my ears. For some reason, it healed me. We killed a lot of them today. Yes, we did. She's right. And we will kill more. That's right, more. We can kill as much as asterisk, ugh, asterisk. Shut up for a second. I caught her from her neck and stopped her madness from going public. Fine. Sorry, I was just... Don't talk now. Damn her. She likes killing so much. Boss. Oh, so you survived. Joel said. What do you want, Trudvar? I asked. Gel am Sorar to interrupt, but Captain Geldof is looking for you, boss. Even he is afraid. Where is he? This way, boss. Trudvar led me to Captain Geldof. He was in the pirate ship we blundered. Lad, come here. He called for me and walked away from the others. Look, lad, I don't know what demon haunted you during the fight, but one thing for sure. You need to suppress it. Suppress it? I saw some fine sailors fall into your state before, and it took some of them to oblivion, lad. You need to distract yourself from these demons now. Thank you, Captain. I will. Look around you. This is a good distraction. A ship probably built in high rock, can be manned by 7 men, and needs some light repairs thanks to you. I don't know where the pirates blundered it from, but we should take it to Dawnstar with us. What say you, lad? Say about what, Captain? I'm telling you to captain it, you numbskull. Chapter 62, The Alexandria. Captaining a ship? The idea seemed likable for some reason. If I remember, the Firemanes are famous sailors, and I guess that their younger generation is the same. Wouldn't I look bad among them if I am not a good sailor? I will do it. Lad, that was fast. Fine. She's yours to captain. If the sailors deem you worthy when we reach Dawnstar, I'll make the whole ship yours. Mine. Aye. Yours, ha ha ha. Captain Geldof slammed my back and left to his ship. Before he leaves, he had already looted most of what was in here. He gave me a share equal to his, and it was a lot money. Some money also will belong to the ships for the sake of repairs. And now I have Fraki, Joel, Trudvar, and 10 other sailors. Not a bad number to sail this ship with ease. "Captain, we are fixing the 2 ships, and will set sail on first light," Fraki reported. "Thank you, Fraki. Please include Trudvar here under your command, and put him to training." "Yes, Captain. Trudvar, while we are at it, follow Jolinar here to my cabin on the icicle, and bring my stuff here. Before you go." I halted him and headed to the captain's quarters. The place was a complete mess and felt not clean. "Bring me the bed, too." To sailors, an unnamed ship is a bad luck, and sailors are mostly people who strongly believe in luck. There is a god that is not that famous called Sai, and it's the god of luck. Most sailor pray to him only once before every trip. Praying to this god a lot would cause an opposite effect. His sign is the wolf, so Nords don't kill wolves unless it's necessary, in respect for a god that helped them once too. In that case, we had to avoid all sources of bad luck. One of them is an unnamed ship. My first idea of a name was Alexandria. No one in this world ever used it, and it's the name of a city I love dearly, so it was named this way. The Alexandria has 3 masts with lateen sails, a foremast in the front, a main mast as the biggest INE in the middle, and a mizzen, which is the small mast on the back. It is light, easy to maneuver with, 20 meters long, and felt really agile. The inner cabins needed a bit of cleaning, so the sailors had to do that, and I had to lord over them. In a ship, relationships are complicated than normal. The captain is the law and the absolute power. In extreme cases, he may decide who lives and who dies. Basically, he is the king of the ship, and he must maintain a clean appearance, strong character, and wise air. A captain with respect and popularity among his men is a worthy lord to serve. Also, if the captain showed any weakness, the act of a mutiny is possible that time. In my case, I show my crew how the word power can be manifested in a real form they can see, feel, and smell. They know how much power I can muster, and power is dominance. I am now responsible for making that dominance into both the right amount of fear and the right amount of respect. After all, captains are the most charismatic people, and I will try to gain experience by tomorrow in commanding those men. Good thing is, my mind, which was a bit cloudy before, is now having good ideas with how to sail this thing. As Captain Geldof said, it is a good distraction. After the fast repairs, the sailors were cleaning the place from the pirates' filth and blood. And now all the things we needed came from the icicle. The moons looked pretty this night. Even though we can set sail, we had some injured comrades that needed a lot of healing, and I was the man for the job. Trudvar was getting along with the crew on the opposite of Joel's, who went into the captain's cabin and didn't go out. She is not good around people in normal cases. I also had to get along with the crew and drink a toast for a peaceful voyage. After making sure everything was good, I returned to my ship and gave the rolls for those who will stay the night and who will go and sleep. Trudvar, along with other 3, were picked for the watch. The captain's cabin is where I am going to stay. It's a wide enough room under the quarterdeck, back of the deck. Joel's lit the place with magic as she learned, and it looked cleaner than before. A table in the middle with a map and some navigation tools, the bed on the back, and above it a window that views the scenery from the behind the ship, my bag, and the stuff I brought, as well as my share of the loot. "Do we have drinks here?" I asked. "Of course." Joel brought me a clean tankard and wine. "Why are you so excited?" "We killed a lot of filthy people today. Is that a good thing?" Jolinar was looking at me as if I said something strange. "Don't you think so?" I do think it was necessary, though. Pirates are the lowest sort of scum. As long as they deserve getting killed. That was my reply. Asterisk giggles asterisk, I wrote about it few words. Don't want to hear them. My mind was in no right mood to hear her nonsense right now. I just drank and sat on the bed. Joel came beside me and started removing my scaled armor. After that, I got some seriously good massage. She was like a real expert. And as our new habit goes, we sleep beside each other every night. Ring, 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 ring. The bell of the ship made the waking up signal. All sailors were gathering on board. The sky barely had any light, and we were done with the rest after battle. Now everyone ate what could be eaten and took position. With the first light, the icicle set sail, and we followed after it. My job was simple: set speed and directions, receive reports, detect faults, and look dignified. I didn't go on full sail just yet, so I didn't give the sails enough wind. Of course, and unlike many games, we can't just take the sails down every time we want to reduce speed. And of course, I can't shout full sail and half sail like an idiot. Full sail is actually a term when you give wind to all the sails, but there is nothing called half sail. We, however, say reduce sail for reefing the mainsail. All in all, it depends on the wind. Now, I wonder if I manage to change things with wind magic. It's dangerous to go against nature in such a way, but I may try it on a small sailing boat sometime in the future. I also hated how the ship have no cannons. A ship with no cannons is so unsightly. My inner Pot-C fanboy was crying with a broken heart. Fine, I'll invent some cannon like staves that can cast fireballs, maybe add 4 of them on each side. Seriously, what am I thinking about? Shouldn't staves be enough, more practical, and easy to maneuver? No, cannons on ships are justice. Damn it, now I can't think clearly anymore. This isn't getting me anywhere. Sigh. As I looked forward, I saw the icicle getting farther. Fine by me. Full sails ahead. I admit we were lucky. The Alexandria caught on good of wind and went running. Normally, a captain won't take the wheel unless it's necessary if he was short on men or something, but I couldn't resist taking in from Frocky and controlling it a bit. The wheel was the tool to control the rudder, the movable fin at the rear of the ship that affects water flow around the ship, and as a result contributes to the rotation, turning, of the vessel. I started to use scan to detect under the water, but it was hard. I now could detect the wind, so it was not that bad. After immersing myself with the experience, the icicle gave a signal. It appeared we reached Dawnstar. Not long after we followed, we really detected a big settlement on a small bay. This was finally my destination. The ships lowered their speed at the mouth of the bay. The icicle was easily allowed to enter as she is a usual visitor, but the Alexandria had to wait for the guards to come on a boat. After a while, some guards came on a boat and inspected the ship. Of course, Captain Geldof gave a word for the ship, and the guards seemed familiar with Frocky, so everything was done quickly. Now, we can enter the docks. Anchoring the ship was an easy matter with some guidance. We sent sailors and some people to pull the ship from the land with ropes. That's how normally things get done. I believe if there was an engine in ships, captaining things would have been much easier. Alas, there is no way to have engines unless they were magically made, and machines with magic needed a source of power like the soul gems, which are too expensive even if I made the hunter's trap every petty and lesser soul they see. Now, let's put aside these sad thoughts now. I want to see the town. After taking out everything, we informed the guards about the pirates and the ship. Normally, anything we loot is ours unless it was stolen and its owner came after it. It could be returned with a price. Ships, however, didn't fall under that law, and Jarls can be really nasty when it comes to such a fine boat. Yet I won't let go of it. I'll even go clash skulls with Skald the Elder. After all, he is the one that can give me a title deed for the ship. Captain Geldof and I were ready for this confrontation, but before that I had a harder task. I need to have a crew willing and loyal enough to sail in the ship with me. Luckily, the man I came to talk with is actually a good candidate if he wanted to work with me on the ship. But first I wanted to see the town, which appeared to be completely different from the game. Dawnstar in the game was no different than a village. It was covered in snow and had few number of houses alongside 2 mines that were rivaling each other. Even its population didn't exceed 40 or so. However, what appeared before me was something largely different. Even the buildings looked different. First, there were not that much snow and the road was not made of stones like the game. Actually, the town was full of wooden houses and muddy roads. The houses were wooden and their roofs were long and reaching the ground. To go in a house, you would actually take few steps down. The dock had few wooden buildings based on the nature of the place. It also had a shipbuilding workshop that could be paid for repairs. What piqued my interest was a ship with a banner I am familiar with. Once I saw it, I went near to Captain Geldof. This ship, I firemain. You have good eyes, kid, but keep them away from people like these. Captain Geldof won't get tense that easily. But there are firemanies around these parts now. I wonder if trouble would arise if I run into them. When I looked at their ship, I saw some fearsome-looking sailors in a matching uniform set. So it was true that the hidden clans have private militias and all that. Good Lord, I always wanted to make my private security force for my establishments in Winterhold, but I guess I didn't come up with anything new. I can even learn a thing or two from these private forces. Still, I won't lose. Now, the first step is to take that ship. So, we go meet the Jarl now. Yes, Skald the Elder is a stubborn old fool, but he likes money, so make sure you are loaded when he gives you a price. What a pain. I will waste the money I just got now. Well, money is for that purpose of spending. All I need is just to convince that Jarl to hand me the ship. Walking in Dawnstar, it was actually a pretty place that gave the vibe of a normal sea town more than Winterhold. I could see that the two big mines had a lot of miners alongside big industrial-grade smelters. The docks were busy with workers and ships. There were a lot of work here and there. It made Winterhold feel like a ghost town. We had to take the road in town to the White Hall, the Jarl's residence. A longhouse-style building from wood and straw, but looked more dignified and higher than the buildings around it. Requesting an audience with Captain Geldof's name and my name as the tournament's champion was easy. I'm not sure if Jarl Skald likes me after I beat up his team black and blue, but let's hope he is not holding a grudge. The guard came and let us in. Who received us, however, was the captain of the guards. His name is Captain Jod. I remember that from the game, he was one of the good guys. A tall man in a Nordic plate armor covered with cyan cloak, the color of the hold. Captain Geldof, a pleasure seeing you in town. How can the Jarl's court assist you? Huh, where's that man you call Jarl over this town? He is with guest captain. I beg your pardon, but we even had to bring Lady Brina to receive them. Oh ho ho, afraid that old fool might embarrass you or anything. Captain Jod heard that and didn't even retort. He just sighed. This guy clearly is having a hard. The talking went from here to there until we reached the pirate's subject. Captain Jod got concerned and asked us many questions. Unknown pirates are a serious matter, especially to a town like Dawnstar that all its business is relying on ships and trading. Of course, having no prisoners to question was due to me going berserk, so I had to apologize about that. A short while Captain Geldof got bored and urged Captain Jod to get us in. Captain Jod had to go check in first, then he came back saying we got permission for audience. Captain Geldof was not polite and walked in with no patience. He was ahead of me, but suddenly he halted for a second, then walked in again. Lady Brina, sir. As I went in, Captain Geldof was greeting a woman sitting on the left side of the hall and a man sitting opposite to her. Lady Brina Marilis is an old veteran from the war and the most popular person in town. She is an exemplary Nord with a straightforward attitude. Opposite to the Jarl, who is the least popular person, and his attitude is that of a brat. The other man who was greeted by the captain was a tall person with calm appearance. He looked like a hunter of some sort, as he was wearing a cap made of a wolf's fur and was stroking an actual owl, standing on the armrest of his seat. Old Skald, we hunted more pirates in your hold. Captain Geldof said as if he was familiar with Jarl Skald. What are you so proud about? You know the regulations. Loot what you want and leave the ship. We are taking the ship this time. Taking it? Why would I give it to you? You are not giving it to me. You're giving it to him. Skald looked at me and looked as if he was illuminated. You are that brat. I remember you. You costed me half of my money in that tournament. Only half. He seemed displeased with me, so I thought it wouldn't harm to taunt him. Huh, fine, I'll give you the ship. He said, for 100 goldens. He was seriously doing this, huh? 100 gold septim would buy me the best ship I asked for, let alone that small caravel. But who did he think he was playing? I'm sorry. Half of your money is only 100 goldens? Skald was baffled and tried to think of a comeback, but Lady Brina was faster. You look young boy. Do you know how to sail her? Yes. This question had to be answered like this. There is no SOSO in sailing ships. But you were only one passenger on a ship that was attacked. To actually have the right to own a ship is something that falls under many rules than just the ability to sail and captain. What gives you the right? I smiled at her question. Skald smiled too as he thought I was trapped by her question. Actually, her question was a very reasonable one. But Captain Geldof should answer it. After all, he is a witness. Captain Geldof cleared his throat in courtesy to speak to Lady Brina. Well, young John here took out most of the pirates alone. We were attacked by 2 ships and nearly 70 pirates. He sank one ship with his magic alone and liberated the other ship mostly by himself. From his 70 pirate, he took 40 of them down. Lady Brina raised het brows and was taken aback. I guess my butcher image with this handsome face of mine are not going along together. Jarl Skald was staring at me like the idiot he is. Just admit it. Some people were just born this awesome. Ho ho, what a naughty child. Strangely enough, the guest who was here before us talked. If I remember correctly, these pirates were a band of Argonians on a caravel and a sloop, right? The man's voice was calm and clear, even though his eyes were sleepy. I answered him with a nod. I am afraid that is my fault for cornering these lizards tightly. They even had to attack a ship belongs to the college? My, I messed up this time. The man was having his own monologue on his own. He seemed rather not caring about anything. Fine, my work here is done. The man said and stood up. The boy can have his ship. He nodded to Lady Brina and left with his owl. He didn't even look at Skald, who stood up. Lady Brina looked at Jarl Skald, who was having complex expressions, and gave him a hurry-up gesture. Skald sent someone to take a look at the ship and write its description. Then he gave me a paper that proves my ownership over the ship free of charge. Now, I own Alexandria. Chapter 63, Clash of Auras. Now, this young handsome man owns a ship. It feels like fate was going in my favor this time. I now get to have my own supply line. I need some crew, and money is no problem, as Skald now gave me the ship without any charges. I have to thank that mysterious man for making things easy. Well, I tried, but he magically vanished after he went outside the Jarl's White Hall. I had to go back for the ship and pay for its repairs. The crew of the Icicle can help me for a while until I get to have a crew. Now, first thing, and above anything, was to get a crew. I don't have many friends in this town, but I know one person and someone I got along with really well with. Ongium Scarmouth. That Ongium from the tournament. And for what he said, he spends most of his time at the town's biggest inn, Wind Peak Inn. From what I remember, the inn was owned by a man called Thoring. In the game, he was a grumpy, sad man because of the death of his wife, but I guess she is still alive by now. The inn is the first thing you see when you enter the town, as most inns. Reaching the inn, I pushed the door open and closed it quickly. It was bustling and warm, unlike the cold weather outside. However, no sailors come to this inn, as there is a tavern for them near the docks, and they have to sleep in their ships. Most of those who visit inns are land travelers and captains. In the inn, some people appear to be chatting here and there. A fight broke inside, and some shady people were sitting together. A normal inn. Most inns had what we call the notice board. There's a mod that actually adds that, but in reality the boards are located inside inns. What was interesting about this inn's notice board was how it was filled with wisdom and hunting contracts. From what I remember, Dawnstar had 2 major problems: the attacks and the nightmares. The attacks are actually due to the location of the town on land. Dawnstar is so isolated. To reach it by land, you'll need to have a risky travel into wastelands of snow. It was even that annoying to travel here from Morthal or Winterhold by land in the game, let alone real life. This isolation and location caused a lot of wild animals and giants to form packs around the town and attack it periodically. Not just that, in the game, this town was attacked by dragons most of the times the hero passed from here, so it's somewhat turned into a meme. The second problem is the nightmares. This town is suffering from nightmares, but only to those who are living here. Travelers are lucky to not be affected by the dreams. If so, this town would have lost many of its business long time ago. Actually, I know the cause of the nightmares, but I am not planning to solve it. I need to make countermeasures if I am going to do this dreadful quest. After all, the player gets to encounter a Daedric prince during it. I don't want to encounter Daedric princes just yet. What if they have the ability to see in my memories and find out about my past life? I don't want to experience such a disaster. Back to the present. The notice board was filled to its brim with wisdom and advices to left the nightmares which they consider a curse. Sigh. Poor folk. I looked around for a table and sat on it. Besides, there were 3 hooded men who looked relaxed, even with how suspicious they looked. I signaled for a woman that looked like a bartender. She came with a smile. "How can I serve you, sir?" "Mead, steak, and ongium scarmouth. You can have food and drink all right, but we don't serve young ongium. Not yet, anyway." The woman said jokingly. "Where is he?" "Being cooked, I'm afraid." The fight. He's being beaten up by some girl." "A girl is beating ongium? I wouldn't miss that for the world." I jumped to the seat and headed inside the inn. Some people were gathering in a circle, and 2 figures were exchanging blows. Ongium was indeed fighting a girl. She was as tall as me, a tad shorter than Ongium, and blonde. She also seemed to be a few years older than me, maybe 23 or 4 years old. What I found really impressive are her muscles. This girl possessed some serious amount of muscles that made her feel like Hilda. She was not that buffed, but I, who was very proud about his muscle frame, started to have second thoughts about it. Ongium's face was swollen from the beating. This was totally unsightly. I feel sorry for him. A clash was happening once again as Ongium rushed forward with no strategy whatsoever, and the girl punched him like lightning. But he managed to use a cheap trick and hit her on the head with a tankard. The girl was infuriated from that. "You bastard!" she yelled, and took a bottle from somewhere, waving it at Ongium's head. "This is bad. I need him alive." The only thing I thought of was to cast grip and snatch the bottle away, and so I did. "Sorry, lady. I need that guy alive." She looked at me, then at Ongium, who was covering himself pitifully. She punched him in his stomach. This punch sent him to his knees, and he was holding his stomach in pain. "Scarmouth, dare, what are you doing here?" "Blessing the town with my presence, harassing the Jarl, and looking for a crew." I approached him and gave him a hand to stand. He took it and stood in agony. To be beaten up by a woman. I am starting to worry. I took the tourney easily. "Easy your mother. Get a punch by that she-bear, and you'll not wake up from it." He said, "More importantly, how did you harass old Skull? Come set, and I'll tell you." I took him back to the table I sat on when I came in and told him the tale. To sink a vessel and liberate another in one go. I guess you won the tourney easily. Still, nice one with Skull, too. Huh. More importantly, this old man was so tensed about money. How did you deal with him after the tourney? You could just guess it. Thanks to a certain someone breaking all bets and expectations, Scald gave us nothing. That's harsh. I guess Scald is that grumpy. I have some septums for you, if you're interested. As long as it includes nothing like wood cutting or mining, I am out. But I'm guessing you want me for your crew thing. Yes, I can captain well, all right, but not all the time. I need someone with experience and a crew. At least 10. They also have to be good warriors. How much will you pay? 5 silvers a week. Make it 6, and I'll be able to get these guys from the team. Fine. The job can last as long as they are willing to work. It will include some dungeon delving and some treasures hunting. Ongium thought about it while holding his swollen face. I cast healing on him, and he nods a thank you. I can gather a few friends by the end of the day. But my friend, you are no a renowned sailor. Some may get reluctant. I'll appoint you the captain as long as I don't need the ship. You will sail around the main ports to supply my business in Winterhold. And if there any adventure that requires the sea, we will go for it together. He thought for a while and smiled. Fine, I like the sound of it. My friend will be here in an hour, so I'll talk them into it. This is a good news to me. As long as I get my crew, I'll be in a better position against Jarl Career. Even though the ones supporting him are pirates, they must be thinking I am traveling on land and will wait to ambush me somewhere on the road. They might get a wind of me in the sea, but I made a plan for that. So tell me, why did you fight with that girl? He touched a girl buttock. Speaking of the devil, that devil came out of nowhere and looked at Ongium as if she wanted a second round. I was impressed. This girl is acting like some sort of superhero for women. And what's it to you? Huh? Ongium was angry and stood up to face her. Okay, both of you. Hakuna Matata. Set down, no more fighting. I had to interfere. Seriously, these two are just stubborn. Ongium, I am your employer now, just sit down and listen. And lady, this guy's my crew member. Got a problem with him, you come to me. Oh, so you're standing for scum like him? Just because he harassed a girl doesn't mean no one else did. If you will beat up everyone who touched a girl ours, then I am afraid it's you against the whole inn. I said, I mean, we all did it at some point. Some people were saying, yeah, and laughing evilly, standing up for Ongium. Even the three mysterious men in hoods beside us were laughing. Humph! The girl snorted in dissatisfaction. I actually can understand her, but I can't break the golden rule. Bros before asterisk OES. Anyway, I am a new captain, a businessman, and trying to become an adventurer. You, my lady, gave me the vibe of adventurers. Don't get me wrong. I'm inviting you for a business drink here. Nothing more. I said, then turned to Ongium. Hey you, go apologize to that girl you touched and buy her a drink. But, no buts. Just go. Ongium stood and went to the counter while the girl was reluctant either to sit or not. I sat down and pointed at her unusual sword. Quite interesting, that sword I mean. It looks like it's a glass sword, right? Glass gear is not actually glass. They're made of malachite, a green, beautiful mineral that can be forged by elves. Ah, yes. The girl eased a bit and sat down. It's my blade, Grim Sever. Oh, nice naming sense. Plural. Kaka, you said Grim Sever? The girl nodded. Holy marbles. It's her. With Grim Sever. She didn't lose it yet. By the by, could you be the famous adventurer Jal? The one known as the Lioness? The girl was taken aback. I am Jal, but I don't know if I was that famous, sir. I am John, I said, offering a handshake. Nice to meet ya. Jal the Lioness, a very known NPC and one of the most straightforward people a player can meet. She has a bit of a complicated history, and she hates bandits and all their kinds. Bandits attacked the village she grew up in and killed her brother. Jal at her young age was taught swordsmanship from her mother and went on adventures across all Tamriel with her father. At some point of her journeys, she went into an ancient Dwemer ruin. These ruins belonged to the long-lost race of the Dwemer, Deep Elves, this world's concept of dwarves. A race that exceeded all other in knowledge and craftsmanship. They even had automatons to protect their cities that still work since the olden ages. Now, this Mjal is actually going to delve into one of those in maybe the near future. What she doesn't know that she will be faced with a giant automaton that will defeat her and push her to the verge of death only to be saved by an Imperial called Aaron. Aaron, one of the residents of Riften and God. He is the slimiest, most annoying person in town. He will rescue Mjal and bring her all the way from the Dwemer ruin to Riften. He later will realize who he rescued and will use her to press the Thieves' Guild around the town. Her reason will be fighting thieves like the ones who attacked her village and killed her brother. But she was driven by emotions and manipulated by Aaron, who is one of the biggest information brokers in Riften. The whole manipulation thing didn't appear in the game or anything. It was just Mjal going around all day, chasing thieves and acting as the godsend hero of the people. Irrational and irritating. Can't she even think for herself? Riften is a shithole and will remain one. Even the people is well accustomed to that. Some people would make deals with the guild, then when we come ask for our money, they would run to the guards. She will only add more trouble between people and the guild. Actually, I can't let that future happen. After a long conversation with her, I try to give her a good impression about me. If that Aaron will be able to turn her head around, then it's not hard for me. So, Mjal, where's your next adventure? Up to the sea? No, not this time. I am not used to adventuring in sea, but I will do it one day. Not the sea? Then what brings you to Dawnstar? If you head south, then there are only wastelands of snow and wilds. I'm planning to do so. There's a place that piqued my interest some time ago, and I think I want to venture there. A place that piqued your interest south to Dawnstar? Don't say it, let me guess. Windward Ruins? No, nothing is there. Corbin Jund? No, that's too far. Ms. and she left. She whispered, "What? Oh God, that won't do at all." I said, why? Listen, sis, this is a college secret. We sent in expeditions there not too long ago, a number of scholar battle mages. Believe me when I tell you, that's not a force to be messed with. I said and looked concerned. They returned back in an unsightly shape. From what I overheard, they faced a number of large automatons called the Centurions. Some even died in the fight. Is that true? Dead true. But that's a big secret. If the other forces knew of this, we will be a laughingstock. The Archmage himself ordered the ruins to be again and the news to be kept a secret. I only knew because my master is an actual force in the college, and she said it around me nonchalantly. Jal looked down and started thinking. She was reluctant to give up her adventure that easily. Such a shame. She said, "Don't feel so down. I believe the divines arranged that meeting for a reason." I started talking like a shady business broker. I am in a quest to clear a cave. Maybe there are some undead treasures and God knows what else. But that's all on the surface. There is a bigger fish I am trying to catch. I am listening. She started listening. There is a pirate gang that call itself the Blood Horkers. I started telling her the story of Winterhold, the corruption of the Jarl, the suffering of the people, how the pirates will target me, and the quest of retrieving the helm of Winterhold. Jal was showing the expressions I wanted to see. That's why I started to tell the tale from the word pirates, and kept saying pirates every sentence. She hates bandits and pirates. She even put us poor thieves and honest smugglers in the same category. I need to clear this misunderstanding, but later on. So you want to remove the Jarl, and what? Be the next Jarl? Me? Jarl. Haha. I'm sorry, I just couldn't help it. I said, come on. I can be anything but a governor. People will go straight to oblivion. Then what is your plan? I can't say it is one plan. There's a business plan and governing plan, as well as society plan and a strategic plan. If I start to act, it may take years to cut the pirates' hand and their supporters. If we did that, Winterhold will be an easy piece of meat to whoever takes it first. Don't forget that all businessmen fight over any territory that may look good, especially a territory that is too good and has a sea access, as well as a treasure trove called the College of Winterhold. If we just fought with the current tiny chance of winning, we will just open an opportunity for someone maybe worse than the ones ruling now, and we will take nothing for ourselves. I said, my current plan is to start a small business to circulate money in the town. It will be a shady piece of business, but it is what the town needs. I will establish myself a name and gather the people around me. I'll give them work and help. The next step will be finding more people who can act as public figures and lead the populace, as well as making more people migrate to Winterhold. This will secure us all the manpower we need to establish both economical and fighting force, which will lead us to the last step, the independence and taking down the Jarl, as well as opposing his supporters. You thought of all that? I was not focusing on her face when I was talking. I was busy moving the cups and bottles around, as if some chess pieces to give her an understanding of my grand plan. When I looked at her face, however, she was shooting beams of sparkle from her eyes at me. What a simpleton. I hate that kind of people who act like heroes, throwing around flyers of justice and fighting evil while not actually doing anything about how to fix the problem from the source. Of course, I won't go beat everyone who touched girls' buttocks before I make a social movement of under the sign of no touching buttocks and gain supporters. Jal's face turned red as she realized what I meant. But suddenly she thought of something and narrowed her eyes at me. Why me? Why did you tell someone you're not familiar with your plan? Aren't you afraid of me ratting you out? Sis, if I came to hire you as a bodyguard in my quest without telling you a word, will you agree? She thought and said, no, I am not a sales word. Exactly, I knew that the moment I saw you. You're the kind of person who care about the people and act based on what they feel right or wrong. I'm not saying it is bad. It's just not the way how the world works. And you know the way how the world works. Every cat, mouse and skeever and Riften knows the way how the world works. Of course I had Uncle Delvin to teach me, so I grew up judging people by these scales. I said, but that's not important now. I just offered you one big-size adventure that will make you busy for maybe few years. What do you say, sis, you're in? I smiled and offered a handshake. Jal thought for a while, then nodded and took my handshake. To your face, Aaron. Jal agreed to join me and went to bring here stuff. Now I felt rather accomplished. Having that beast around me is a good deal and will make my job in Winterhold much easier. She'll be a pain in Career's ass. I couldn't help but smile and imagine how he will feel having two people he can't go against wrecking havoc in his system. Still, I was not comfortable with these three shady, mysterious guys on the table next to mine. There were a 5-meter space between us, but they were gazing at me the whole time. Is something funny on my face? I even raised my tankard to them with a smile to tell them, stop looking, you fools, but they shamelessly raised their tankards back. I am afraid if they were eavesdropping on me talking to Jal, this may turn into a problem. Suddenly, a man came in and called, John, we are leaving in 2 hours. Who is that? I don't recognize him. Fine, we'll be there. Strange enough, one of the shady people answered. I looked at him, but couldn't see his face under the hood. This is annoying. I am sorry. My brother's name is John too. One of the other two, who sat on that John side, talked directly to me. Another John. But he said too, these guys listened to some of what I said, it seems. Don't get tense, young man. The third said, my friends will politely apologize for their rudeness. The third was dressed in a different kind hood. It was dark but a bit colorful. I sensed a lot of magica from him. The other two felt dangerous too. The one who spoke to me felt as sharp as a blade, and the other one, called John, had a strange magica that felt not like a blaze. These guys were releasing some sort of aura at me. What skill is that? This is interesting. So interesting. I want to compete with them, even though my loss is guaranteed. Wait, I also made something like that. The incomplete spell that I released at Julliner to suppress her madness. Here I go. I used the hand on my other side of them to evoke and channel it directly. Aura of madness. It's as far as I could go, but it will counter these crazy fellows. Now our auras met. I was clearly at disadvantage, but they were going easy at me. Still, I'll be rude. I stepped on the oil pedal and increased the output. They also did. Our auras were not visible, but I think if I use a vision spell, I would see them. One aura was filled with power, as if nothing can stop it. One aura was sharp like a blade wielded by a monster. One aura was as if the fire that can eat anything and everything. These were the colored hood man, the man who talked to me, and his friend named John respectively. My aura, on the other hand, was too unrefined, a bit weaker, and all over the place. Still, it carried madness, anger, fear, and a lot of negative aspects. I was not done. I was comprehending how to power it up more, how to correct the aspects. What a chance. I smiled widely. My smile was so wide, I contained my happiness anymore. The first to back down was not me. It was the man who talked to me. He stood up and looked around, then shouted, Enough, as if I was woken up by a cold bucket of water. I realized what I have done. These people's auras was contained and focused on me. My aura, on the other hand, was all over the place, unfocused, and was wrecking havoc not just against them, but to all the people in the inn. The place turned messy. Some people were looking at me as if I was some sort of beast. The three stood up and came to my table. Mind if we join you? Chapter 64, Hobbs' Fall Cave. What if I disagree? They looked at each other and sat anyway. How rude. They sat down around the table. The other John was in front of me, his brother on the left, and the other man on the right. I am Tor. This is my brother John, and that is my friend Glent. We are sorry for rudely eavesdropping and the thing just now. Not accepted. Ha, cheeky brat. That was some aggressive aura just now. How did you develop it? I don't know what you mean by aura. That was just a spell. A spell? The trio were surprised for some reason. To think you can make an aura with magic. This is impressive. Nope, just some illusions. The men were taken aback again. The man called Glimpse spoke illusion? That explains the range of effect. Through this exchange, I could see some parts of their faces. I'm not sure of the races just yet. Glimp was not tall like most Nords, even though his name was Nordic. He had a skin that made me think he may be an Imperial with some facial hair. He looked the oldest. I couldn't decide his race, though. Tor was a Nord. His manner of speaking and height gave off a bit of that. His hair couldn't be seen, but I guess it's a bit between red and brown. Also, I'm sure his name was fake. His eye contact wasn't steady when he said it. The man named John is actually the most mysterious one. It was hard to tell his accent, as he was quiet. His skin is pale, and he is tall. Still, I feel like his blue eyes are very perceptive. He is like a hawk. I was also surprised. Being a milk drinker and releasing aura would be a bit unnatural. Tor said, "From what you say, I guess that aura is not the casting technique I am familiar with. What is it?" It's not easy to explain for a youngster. Glimpse said, and unlike Tor, he was polite. It's like manifesting the fighting spirit inside one's body into an actual force that affects morales and actually gives strength in combat. Doing so can give a hint of the style used by the person who released the aura. Something like that exists. But isn't this similar to War Cry? The power that can be released by the heroic Nords? You can say that. Few people can use War Cry, but those who can use it are definitely able to release an aura. Tor said, I thought so. This means that Tor is a swordsman with a fiendish style. Glimt is some sort of a battle mage, and Old John is a fire mage. Correct, Glimt said. Fiendish, Tor grumbled. Old John was clearly dissatisfied with it. Deal with it. I am also dealing with young John as long as you are around. Old John laughed quietly and shook his head. Anyway, what's your business with me? I have a crew to gather. A crew? Kid, how did you own a ship? Tor was taking the role of the talkative. I thought you heard everything. Clearly not. We only got interested in how you would hit on the lass. Lass? You mean Jal? Come on. And here I thought they were some shady people. They only got interested when I talked them Jal. Sigh. Dirty old men. You were asking about the ship. Well, I killed all the pirates on it, and it became mine. Killed? How many? Tor asked. Don't know. They were a lot. I said, remembering what happened makes my mood gloomy. Ask my servant. She's into counting the dead and all that. I took my tankard and emptied it in one go. You all right? Strange enough, Old John broke his vow of silence and spoke. I am. Not the first time. They also drank from the tankards they brought with them. Tell me, young John, I'm sorry for asking about your private matters, but that thing about Winterhold, is it serious? Tor asked. People are dying on the streets. Of course it is serious. No, not that. I meant you going against the authority. Authority? Who gives the right of the authority? The king? The bloodline? I asked. It's nothing but formalities. Things mortals created to feel good about themselves, to feel satisfied being on top of one another. The ones who are the source of all authorities are the people if they realized it. But without rulers, people will suffer. Old John said. Because of what? How wise rulers are. They were only prepared to rule and to think for the people. The moment they stop thinking for the people, everything crumbles. The moment greed takes over, how many friendships to be cut, loved ones to lost, families to be ruined. I said, and they turned grim one after the other. You see what is wrong? They degraded people and monopolized both opinion and thinking for themselves. They put limits on everything to shackle life into what they see as order and force others to abide it as law. But isn't order the way man should follow and live with? Without order, man is just but another animal. Old John said. True, and I agree completely. But that depends on how much man can comprehend and think. To beasts, living in human settlements is chaotic, but to man it's order. The more a man can utilize his ability to think, the more his notion of order widens. To degrade men, suppress their ability to think, the chaos will drive them into the small area they think of as order. That's how people govern people, not by order, but by chaos, by illusion, by making them think of what they want them to think. Make one busy with gathering barely enough money to support himself, and all he will think about is how to live day by day. He will never look at the future because that will be stepping into the dark, unknown area, the chaos. His order will be what those who rule him want it to be. A wise man once said, "Order is but an illusion. What is order for a spider is chaos for a fly." Who said that? Tor asked. Me just now, I said. The trio were baffled by my shameless. After all, what are you really after? Glemp asked. Unlike what people think, order is no opposite to chaos. It's only the small territory we conquered in chaos. What I am after is to conquer more. I won't lord over anyone, neither do I have the time to do so. I will just give people a hand while benefiting myself. Maybe it can give me the feeling of accomplishment and build up a place I want my children to live in. I didn't say anything after it. Truthfully speaking, I may have talked a lot, but nothing of my ideals is a secret. Also, these guys are strong. I can't tell how strong they are, but I am no match. They didn't show any bad intentions towards me. On the contrary, they were worried. Not about my plan, but about that aura thing. I still haven't comprehended it yet, but it seems that the aura is affected by one's mentality. I used a spell full of madness and negativity that made them feel worried if my mentality is affected by that. My mentality is clear as ever, though. I am just very perceptive when it comes to energy that I could counter the energy of aura with a spell. After all, everything is magica. So, won't those ideals of yours be a thing that some people may not see beneficial and try to fight? Tor asked. Indeed, fights will occur to stop it. I am not exactly optimistic about it myself, but I want to think of myself as doing my part. Also, as people will see it as a threat, some will see it as a future and will embrace it. When you give the people heroes, they might live in harmony as long as the heroes are living among them. But if you give people an idea, they will follow it, put their faith in it, fight and die for it. So you are saying heroes are not necessary? Tor asked in dissatisfaction. They are when the time of heroes comes. But for every day, world should survive on its own. As you see, world doesn't need heroes. It needs professionals. And no crisis shall ever rise to begin with. After all, it's for the future. Future? Sigh. I could feel that old John was in an emotional roller coaster when he said future and sighed. The man seemed to be having a heart. Sorry for taking your time, young John. I think it's time for us to head out. Old John said and stood. I hope we meet each other once again. I stood for him and shook his hand. Likewise, old John. See you, kid, Tor said and bunched my shoulder. Farewell. They walked together and left the inn. The people in the inn were still wary of me. They knew that I was in some power contest with the other three. The presence of aura can be felt by normal senses just fine, but as it wasn't directed at people, no one really minded it. They only felt these people are no regular folk. Me, on the other hand, used a spell that worked like the aura, so people thought of me as some crazy monster. I heard some of them saying that I won against the 3 men in hoods alone. Njal said she sensed something and came running, but she was afraid to step into the conversation, especially when she felt my aura. Onjiam said that the boys he brought were frightened by my aura and will not argue about anything, but they're just too afraid to come unless I call for them. I guess I did a score here. I'll improve that spell no matter what. Julliner, who was acting during my absence in the ship, also came to the inn and reported that the repairs are almost complete. I went and talked with the sailors Onjiam brought. Most of them were young but experienced sailors. I tried to be friendly enough without breaking the air of the captain, and it didn't really work. Still, they eased up a bit when I ordered drinks for them. Julliner wrote the names of the sailors, and everything was in order. 2 cooks and navigators, a charter, 2 carpenters, the rest were 5 warriors. Onjiam will be my quartermaster, Joel will be Joel, Trudvar will be my guard, Jal will be my guard too, and the one who will do the intimidating. I, the captain, the healer, and the battle mage. I also paid 2 silvers up front as a bonus of starting the job. They have half a day to get what they need and be on the ship. Ongium took me around the town, and we bought tons of arrows, as well as some weapons and many other necessities. I also had a shopping list for Narina, and it was nothing easy to carry alone. I hired people to carry the stuff to the ship. By nightfall, the ship was loaded, and the repairs made it look like a new one. The Alexandria was a small but an elegant ship. Adding few lanterns here and there gave it a good vibe. I also made sure that everything is taken care of before heading to my cabin. My cabin. Ah, what a transformation. I must admit, I love luxury. I brought a big-sized bed and the comfiest furniture that can fit in. I also bought some maps and new navigation gear. My navigation skills are not that great, but it's okay for traveling not far from the coast. I also bought every sailing book in town. Let's see what else is here before we miss anything. Arcane table for enchanting, check. Alchemy station, check. Luggage, check. Joel's, check. My reading material, check. Chest for valuables, check. Every piece is where it is supposed to be. Ah, it was never this tidy in my past life. Now to bed. Next morning, I was standing behind the wheel. 5 sailors were being punished in the very morning. Why? For overslept, and 1 slept on guarding duty. What's the punishment, you ask? Simple. Ice bucket challenge. I call it that, but it is like this. These guys will stand naked, in underwears of course, and pour ice-cold water from the sea on themselves. 10 buckets, or 10 whips. Those who start can't stop, because whips on cold bodies is a heavenly kind of pain. Of course, one can stop any time, but we'll have to take the rest of the buckets as whips. Even though these guys are Nords, cold sea water in the morning is a bit too much. The sun started rising, and everything was going fine. Dragging the ship out was also the sailor's job, but we pay few coppers for dock workers to help. Now, the ship was on water, and we have nothing left but to open the sails to the wind. Few minutes later, the Alexandria was back in the sea and heading east to the direction of Winterhold. Our destination is Hobbs Fall Cave. Hobbs Fall Cave was right on the coast, just after an island called Ingvild. We took the short, narrow path between the small islands near the coast. Truthfully speaking, I was worried of being followed, so my plan was to hide the ship somewhere like here. After 6 hours, I could see the terrain of the cave I am familiar with. My navigator also confirmed the location. I insisted to hide the ship from sight. There was a small hill near the coast that could do the job, and it was surrounded by small pieces of land. Even though the area was shallow, my detection scanned it for the best way out. Now, we are very well ready to go down. Trudvar will stay with the ship along with other sailors. Me, Joel's, Njal, Ongium, and 3 sailors who were good fighters took the ship's boat to the land. Hobbs Fall Cave is at the end of a path enclosed by sheer walls of ice, which starts at the shoreline to the northeast and ends at the entrance. Everything was so far so good. I was worried about any beasts in the area, but... Tech! Damn it! What's wrong? Njal said. A troll. At the entrance of the cave. I said and evoked the fireball spell. I hate trolls when they are alive, 3 eyes, and crazy strength. What is more ridiculous is their regeneration. I remember playing as a warrior and going against a troll once. Dumbfuck healed like crazy after every hit. Ongium, Njal use shields and pin it. The rest go with spears. Joel, shoot to its eyes without making it see you. The troll emerged near the entrance and started to make warning roars to the intruders. This is an ice troll. I cannot believe I extracted an essence from this thing to buff my bedroom prowess, but I think the troll's regeneration is what made it a fearsome extract. Trolls themselves are ugly fucks. Gorilla-like creatures with 3 eyes and evil-looking heads. Their bodies are stringy with muscles, but mostly covered in fur. Their shoulders and heads have many bone spurs that makes a clash with them is a bad idea. Their hand are the most problematic thing. They have 3 fingers, each with claws like steel. This combination of fearsomeness and incarnation of manhood is rearing and rushing against us. There is only one weakness the trolls have. It's fire. And this young and handsome man is called John Hild Firemane. One more thing. The guys around me are nervous. Let's give them good buff. I haven't used this in ages. War cry. Chapter 65, Dungeon Delving. Sovngarde. My war cry echoed around. What else could I shout anyway? My party got buffed, and the troll slowed its advance. This was the perfect time for me to release my spells. 2 fireballs were cast from each hand, and 2 perfect hits blasted on the troll. The monster won't be easily done by this, but I guess it lost most of its endurance now. There were no time to cast more spells. The troll was fast, much faster and more dangerous than the ones from the game. I had to fall back, allowing Jal and Ongium to take my place while carrying their shields. The situation will get dire from now. I can't use fire with my allies close to the target. Fire tends to be tricky to use in this situation. The troll may start regenerating, and his stamina is also a pain to deal with. The troll's clashes with shields badly. Jal was pushed back, but the sailor behind her was supporting her well. Ongium was superior to Mjal in the term of weight, so he didn't move from his place. I think the Vanguard need more support. The man for the job is Frost Atronachon. It made its appearance after the coming out from a void. The problem now is that the Atronach won't deal much damage to the ice troll, as the troll has a high resistance to frost. Also, it has already started regenerating. I am hating the situation, but the only solution is to do something about his vitality. Beside my mastered spells, I am researching new spells most of the time. The aspect of vitality is a hard-to-control aspect, but I can at least absorb and supply it. It's dangerous to use the effect of supply with vitality, as one gives his own vitality to others. It's more effective than healing, though. Mages tend to use the effects Fortify and Restore with aspect vitality to make the healing spells. If I absorb the troll's vitality, it may affect me, as my vitality is full or different in nature than a troll's vitality, but I can supply it back to the members of my party as they're taking damage directly from the troll. Fine, I'll risk it. I evoke to different spells on each hand. The right is Absorb Vitality, the left is Supply Vitality. I aim my right at the troll, and my left at Mjal, who received a hit. After a minute of struggle, the troll's regeneration actually slowed down. It took us 5 more minutes to put the beast down. The 3 sailors made sure to make their spears go through all its vitals to make sure it died. This was tough. If there is anyone in the cave now, I doubt they didn't know about us already. Don't let your guard down. They didn't come at us when we took down the troll, so don't worry about it now. I said, Joels, you will scout ahead. Make sure to use scan and alarm like I taught you. Do what you do best. Joel was taking the role of my mysterious right-hand girl, so she rarely spoke. How adorable. Now everyone on me. I may be a mage, but I'll kick your asses if you come at me combined. Don't focus on protecting me unless I am doing some serious magic casting. I'll tell you by then. We will walk light and not trigger any attention. I am taking the lead with you 3. We'll use our bows and bring any target down swiftly. Ongium and Jal, you 2 will be our rear guard. If it turned dangerous ahead, then switch into vanguard. Everyone stay cool, and don't lose your shit if you saw a freaking undead in there. Just shoot on my signal. Understood? Yes, Captain. Good. I gave these guys few lessons on tactics and infiltration strategies. We will move and kill like shadows. Jelliner took the lead and sneaked into the cave. Her mission was disarming traps and scouting for enemies. She also would leave us marks about the situation ahead and wait for us if there is an enemy. This is how my tactical lessons were hammered into her. I cast Bound Bow. This way I have my own bow and a quiver with many arrows hang from my waist. Now we are ready to roll. Upon entering the cave, we found ourselves in an icy cavern. It was very spacious with ice walls, floor, and ceiling. I was in wonder, even though this is not my first time witnessing such a thing. Whistling Mine looked similar, but I had no time to admire it. Still, I can't say anything or make any sound for an echo may form. The only way right now was only ahead, so there were no argument. What should we do? I took the lead and walked carefully and quietly while notching an arrow in my bow. Reaching the end, the tunnel turned right with a slight slope going down. It was no different from the first tunnel, so we headed ahead again. As we reached its end, the tunnel turned right and opened into a larger space of a two-leveled cave. This cave contains several small, empty cages filled with bones and empty bottles scattered all over the floor. Jelliner was crouching after the turn and signaled us not to make no noise. Trouble ahead. I halted the group with a fist sign, then a wait sign. I had to sneak to Joel alone. Putting thoughts into action, I moved as fast and quiet as I can. What's the situation? 2 enemies ahead. Anything near them? No, just 2 boys chatting and drinking. I looked where she pointed and found the targets. Be careful. The cave is leveled, so maybe someone watching from the higher level. Indeed, above to the north is a ledge with a wooden palisade along the edge. It came from the higher level. We can't let anyone see us. Relax, I said. Ready your bow. You take right, I take left. I'll shoot when you're ready. Joel took her bow and arrow, aimed and shot. I followed her actions like her shadow. 2 arrows tore the wind and rested in the 2 boys' necks. Another follow sign made the party follow ahead. Jelliner checked around then went ahead. We followed closely to a tunnel on the left, as it is the only way forward at this point. This narrow tunnel twists and turns left, right before continuing ahead to a wider one. Joel's was waiting, undead ahead, no life reactions near them. Moving a bit ahead, we saw nearly 7 skeletons. This was easy. Skeletons are a bit hard to shoot with arrows, but they crumble when a blunt weapon crushes them. Stay behind. Joel and Ongium, on me. I dispelled the bound bow and cast a bound battle axe. The 2 follow me like wind, and we swiftly stormed the skeletons. Each skeleton took 1 hit, but they were giving a fight. I was worried about the noise in a cave like this, but luckily I remembered to cast Muffle on the zone of the fight. Reset formation. I gave the command, and everything was back as it was. We continued the tunnel and took a left, but no traces of any presence was there. Another left took us to a slope and corridor. After a small walk, we reached a wooden bridge, and we found Joel waiting there. Few living signals ahead. They're on alert. This may get tough. It will be like this then, switching back to the bows and getting protected for the next raid. Everyone, we'll go in storming arrows. Shoot fast. Joel and Ongium, you 2 will have to shield us if we fell under heavy fire. Remember, our target on the other side, and warlocks tend to use frost magic. Everyone nodded. Taking a deep breath, I made a countdown with my fingers and moved to the next location. It looked like some apprentices were positioned in this place. They were between the ranks of beginners and didn't even look tough. But there were 7 of them and 5 archers of us. Assigning the target with signals was an easy task for those guys. They're already an experienced SWAT team. At the signal, 5 arrows tore the air and 5 enemies fell. The remaining 2 were alerted and tried to run. 1 got shot by me, and another got an arrow to the thigh and escaped while limping. Crap! The area ahead is unknown, but I and Joel gave a chase through the wooden bridge and honeycombed him with arrows. Tough bastard resisted. As we reached the end of the bridge, we noticed that the wooden bridge spans over a deep cavern. I knew this, but still, it looked fearsome. Resetting the formation and moving forward was done even before I say anything. The walk ahead was strangely not interrupted by any traps. I even felt worried for Joel. Still, we met her after we walked down a few slopes. 2 paths ahead. One had a mage with many undead, and the other's going down somewhere, but I can't check it else I get seen. Fine, I'll deal with the undead. The rest of you take the mage with arrows. A mage that can control many undead is a dangerous being. Everyone readied themselves. As the fight starts, the mage will surely hide behind his undead creatures. This will prove troublesome if they are guardians, not just as zombies. The mage was indeed relaxing, but the undead were guarding him. Behind him is a passage blocked by some iron bars. My move was the first. I have to eliminate all the undead around him with 1 move while the rest take care of him quickly. I will use a spell that is as strong as a fireball. The spell is my original Holy Smite. It is the same as Fireball, but it's made of sun element, the best anti-undead element that doesn't deal any damage to humans in my arsenal. As I cast the spells, the undead skeletons explode everywhere from its effect, followed by the arrows that tore the mage apart. We stormed the room, destroying any undead in the bath. The area is clear, and few items and books were found. Put anything of value in the sacks. Rest for a while, and we'll move in a minute. Keep your guard up. The room we stormed just now appeared to be a guard post for something important after the passage that was blocked with iron bars. There is still a location we haven't checked, but I had an idea what it was. After looting the place and resting for a minute, I moved the boys and got out the way we came in. We will take the corridor that Joel hasn't checked. Sure enough, after walking for a while, we reached an empty room under the wooden bridge we passed on a while ago. It was the living quarters of the necromancers living in this cave. There were more stuff to loot here. I scanned the place carefully and found some money, hidden chests, as well as some valuable weapons and research paper. For what I could tell, these people were cultists of Molag Bal, one of the most fearsome and hateful Daedric princes, Dardra god, whose sphere is the domination and enslavement of mortals. He is known as the god of schemes, the king of, the harvester of souls, the lord of brutality, and the prince of rage. His main desire is to harvest the souls of mortals and to bring them within his sway by spreading seeds of strife and discord in the mortal realms. One legend claims that Molag Bal created the first vampire when he raped a virgin named Lamy Beelfag, who in turn slaughtered a group of nomads who tried to help her. I just get the urge to puke when I see someone that worshipped this piece of shit. I, myself, am not a good guy, but I have my limits. I don't mind making pacts with Daedra as long as it doesn't affect my soul or essence, like becoming something inhuman or stuff like that. Of course, becoming an immortal is cool, but I would love to do that with my own power. During the looting, one guy found an unusual gem. He came to me running after he did. "Oh, a stone of Berenzia. Give me that. I'll give an extra silver for finding it." The boy gave it, and I gave him a silver septim as a reward. The other two looked at him enviously. "Is it of any value?" Ongium asked. "Don't you recognize the name Berenzia, the Dunmare Queen of Mournhold? One of Tybur, Septim lovers? One of the most badass women in this world." Sigh. He and the rest shook their heads to every question. "It's one of 24 stones that belong to the beautiful crown of Queen Berenzia. The crown was lost in Skyrim after the disappearance of the queen during the War of Accession, and its gems started to appear in different locations. Collectors like myself fancy those stones." "You sure know a lot about a random gem in a cave," Jal said mockingly. "You don't understand. Queen Berenzia of Mournhold is one of my favorite historical figures alongside our well-known Queen Potima of Solitude." All the people present shivered when they heard the name of Potima. Any Nord knows this famous, or rather, infamous Wolf Queen. Queen Berenzia and Wolf Queen Potima are the most fearsome queens in the history of Morrowind, Skyrim, and the Empire. They are the most badass queens. Even Cersei Lannister would look like a cute kitten beside them. Queen Berenzia started her life in exile after she was taken from her father's home, who was the Lord of Mournhold. Her exile was in Skyrim, but she escaped and became a thief in Riften. Years later, she was found by a Dunmare general that worked under Tybur, Septim himself, and later became the general's wife and Tybur's mistress in secret. This was some story to read. She lived a long life full of events and political struggle after that, until her disappearances 200 years ago. Queen Potima of Solitude is a cut of the same. She is well known to all Nords. Known as Potima Septim of the imperial family. She was wed in Skyrim to the High King, but she practiced necromancy and thievery. She also started a civil war in the Empire to get the imperial ruby throne for her son, who eventually died in the fight. Her rage was not simple, as she unleashed all her necromantic power and released an army of undead on Solitude. She was later cornered and sealed under Solitude. My theory is She became a lich and waiting to be unsealed. The reason why these guys shivered was the public knowledge of Potima's fearsomeness. Still, that story will be left for another time. I stored the gem in my pocket and smiled as I have an idea about the locations of the rest of the gems, and this gem confirmed that they are most likely in these places. Now hurry up, don't laze around. We moved back again to the passage blocked with iron bars and started looking for a mechanism to unblock the passage. I can do it by force, but it will take time. A minute later, Joel found a chain, and when she pulled it down, the bars moved and the passage was unblocked. We moved again in formation, but I heard Joel screaming. I didn't think and ran to her location. Joel was hit by a magical trap. These traps were shooting frostbite spell on her. I cast grip and dragged Joel from harm's way. Her arm turned blue from the spell damage. I didn't know what were these. I approached them and they shot magic at me. Also, someone saw me and went running the other way. This is not good. I started healing her as it was easy to cure the frost effect by just healing. These traps were nasty, still magic traps are actually very simple. You only needed to cast the rune of the normal spell, then install a soul gem on it. This will work as a sentry turret. To disarm them, one can just shoot anything at the gems powering the runes. I can just take them by grip spell. There are 3 of them, and I took the 3 soul gems as loot. The mage that spotted Joel has clearly went far and warned the rest ahead. This is now an all-out fight. Okay, be ready for some resistance. Joel, stay at the back. The scouting now will be done by me. This was a good training for Joel, but I can't afford to tire her this much. I moved ahead of the group, and the cave turned left and right until it reached a big space. There were indeed many mages here. They were also trying to check the passage. Show yourself, intruders. One was shouting like crazy, as if I will ever do that anyway. The number of the necromancers here is 5, and they seemed like the bosses of the cave. They also had few undead minions that were being put into formation around the passage. I moved back and met with the group to lay down the plan. This is the last clash now. The plan is like this. I said then cast a spell 3 times and 3 frost atronax appeared. These big guys will clash with the undead after I cast a sun spell on them. Your rule is to rain the mages with arrows, and I'll join you with magic. Ongium and Jal, you guys will protect the flanks from the undead. The last spell I cast was Paladin's Aura on both of them and myself. This spell is a cloaking spell that will cover us with the sun element and healing effect. It will do harm to undead and heal us. One of my masterpieces. The 3 frost atronax took the lead, followed by Mjal, Ongium, and the fabulous me. Then Jol, who insisted to follow, and the 3 sailors who will shoot arrows at the mages. The first move was mine. I cast Holy Smite that exploded in the undead formation ahead of the passages. My atronax swarmed the undead, followed by Mjal and Ongium. This was a glorious start. Shame I can't use War Cry, or I may faint this time. The arrows flew at the mages, but they were a bit off. Still, it kept them in check. The mages tried to cast frost magic at us, but it was not even a threat. One of the mages shouted, "Move!" to his colleagues. He was charging a strong frost spell. I evoked Chain Lightning and cast it at him head-on. He also cast the spell, and we pressed on each other. This was a magic duel. 2 spells pushing back each other by the sheer power of Magicka. I was superior as always. My Magicka training can make me above and beyond any of those guys. Even a battle mage scholar from the college will get his ass kicked by me if he thought to duel me like this. The mage was blasted away by my spell and was sent flying. After that, the undead he controlled crumbled, and the remaining 4 surrendered themselves. Now that place is secured. The place was indeed a big cavern with cages and dead bodies in it. These guys were experimenting in necromancy and looked like they were doing something big. They also had a lot of resources and money in this room. Now, to the prisoners. Which one of you is the leader? They didn't speak. Hee hee. Fine. Let's see if this works. You will start dying if you don't talk. The Jarl is annoyed from what you did and will execute you guys on sight. The Jarl. One of them shouted. What did we do? We honored the agreement with him. Oh, he doesn't think so. Few days ago, he sent a poor fool for you guys to kill, but you didn't, and he returned back with a helm that he claimed that it was the helm of Winterhold. Now, the people believed him, and the situation is not looking good. No, we received your messenger, but that mage did not come. Another one said, we even lured a troll outside the cave, as your messenger said, but he didn't come at all. So it was as I thought. So, which one of you is the leader? They pointed at the mage I just dueled. Oh, so that was him. How very dead. I said, who is the next in command? Another guy raised his hand. Fine. You are in charge now. Stand up. I took the guy away. The Jarl also wanted me to change some items in your agreement. Let's see, what do you guys usually do? Sir, we maintain the chill and install frost guardians there. We also get rid of the unwanted troublemakers and secrecy. What else should we do? Nothing at all. Oh, one last thing. This helm, do you still have it? What helm, good sir? We don't have. Oh, the guy said, but he realized it and glared at me. Also thought so. Sorry, man, time to die. I stabbed him with a hidden dagger, and he didn't even make a sound. Kill the rest. That you're tuning in to the Warrior Lore YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.